today, the government have worked on the forex. Things have changed.
We are not discussing forex. We are not discussing forex.
Just 1 second.
Well, no, we are not discussing forex here. We have a specific topic here.
Okay, I give the mic. Thank you.
Mazi, I want to have my time now.
We're not discussing forex here. And if you come here and say that we have not seen the policy document, you are not being fair because you have been here since morning. We have been discussing, analyzing.
But Mazi, he is not discussing forex.
Mazi, how are you forex? He's giving an example. Are you listening to him from a different perspective? He was only mentioning that there was a time for forex, people did not study the policy and look at where it is. He's trying to create a premise. So it's either you let him lay his foundation or you let him wait for his time.
Let him wait for his time. That's what I wanted to do, Seth.
But in this case, there is no policy yet. There is only a proposal.
There's no policy. It's a proposal. It's a proposal that the Minister of Education just adopted.
The proposal also has, like, even whether you like it or whether it's a proposal or not, there's still like something you can read. It's not by mouth now. The proposal has like some press release.
But we have some of us have said that we have read it. People that have not read it came out here. Hold on. No, people that have not read it came out here and admitted openly that they have not read it.
Okay, wait, Mazi, are you confident that everybody on
about people that have spoken on the space? That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't still matter. You think everybody that has spoken on the space have read it?
No, some people came and said that they have not read it. Mr. Daniel has said that he have read it. Doggy, I'm 100% sure Doggy have read it. Doggy does not speak on something that I have not gone through. Right? Papa, I'm sure that they have read it. Me, I myself, I took my time and go through it, and that was the reason why I was pointing Mr. Daniel. Is there any way they mention transition or not?
It doesn't mean that. It doesn't invalidate what he's saying now. There are still a lot of people that have not. Like, for instance, you have NYSC issue here. You have JSS and SSS changes here. For instance, the NYSC reforms, if everybody have read it, people like Dr. Joe Abba will not be on Channels News right now trying to explain it. Do you know how many intense pressure people like Dr. Joe Abba has faced just simply because he mentioned that he was part of the people that drafted the reforms? He was there, still explaining till now. People are
okay. Let us not go into that. So we're not going to go into because if we go there, we'll go to logical. I did not stop you because I don't want you to speak. Just because I want to accommodate other people who have been here before you came. I was thinking that you are going to ask Doggy a question. All right. Sorry about that. I deeply apologize. Just wait a little bit. I will chip you in. So you can say whatever he wants to say, even if you want to bash me. Mr. Daniel have come here. In fact, for 2 straight weeks now, Mr. Daniel have been on my neck. I didn't know what I did to that man. Since he saw me took a picture with Bar Onoga, he has not gotten himself. I didn't know what I did to that man. I cannot explain. It remains small. Make I see him for my dream. But what did I go do for my dream? You know, go like him. Statement. Let me.
But a quick one. Just very very quick one. In as much as I want to like to wait for his turn, but there's point in what he said. People that are commenting on this issue should try and read it so that they know what they are criticizing exactly. There's point in it. I think you should be asking people, have you read the document? No. Okay, continue. So that you know what the person.
Okay.
Have you read it? No. Have you read it? No.
Quick one. Me, I've read the document. Can I wait for my turn?
No, you will not speak now. You will not speak. Let's take my Let's take my speak. Yeah, Doggy, I get what you're saying. But I don't want to sound condescending to people, right? Just allow them
I don't.
Am I the only one?
You know how to engage them.
Am I the only one that can hear Doggy? Doggy is cutting up.
Did you hear what I said? I said that people who have not read it, it's the document that they should not speak. But at least it gives you the premise to know how to engage them. Have you read it? No. Okay, continue speaking. Then you know how to engage them.
Yeah. I get it now. So let's have statement. Statement, please go ahead. Statement.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, thank you. One thing about your space is if anybody wants to talk, they have to join us and wait for 1 hour or more. Yeah. In Nigeria is a very huge country, and most of the time when decisions or policies are made,
I appreciate the fact that governments don't focus on many of us that are many on this space, because most of us are like city boys. I am a village boy. I grew up in village, and luckily for me also, when I wanted to serve in NYSC, I served in Zamfara. And when people are discussing on this space, I was just like, okay, maybe the focus is on Lagos or maybe some other city states, River State, and other places like that. Because the reality, and another thing is, the reality in Nigeria varies widely. What is happening in remote village in Draining Kebi or Zurumi of Zambara, or maybe and what is happening in Lagos, they are quite different. But when we talk about policy, we analyze it from our own small sphere, and then we think that that applies to all Nigeria. From the policy proposal, what they said is they want to increase retention in school. That's what they said. And why do they say retention? Yeah, many of us, once we enter primary school, we enter secondary school, we are not even thinking of dropping off in at GS3. We know that GS3 exam is just to rank us, to know whether you will be in science class, commercial class, or arts class. That's what we know. Growing up in my own place, and in Lagos and other places like that. In the north, the case is different. I served in a girls' secondary school in Zamfara. Once you reach JS3 and before you write the exam, you already have a suitor. And usually this suitor, he has finished his degree or NCE or maybe ND or in Polytechnic or something. So he's waiting for you to finish your JS class. Your GS3. So after writing the GS3 exam, the celebration, because you will have to do the celebration, and then they will print all this exercise book with photo of the girl and the suitor and the girl and the person that is marrying her. Almost all of them. So immediately she wrote that GS3 exam. She's not coming again. She's married off because she already has the certificate. And that is why we need to know that this policy is not targeting elimination of exam, whether GS3 exam, common entrance, or whatever exam. It is targeted at eliminating certificates, GS3 certificate, or this BEC, this basic education common, education common certificate or something like that. That basic education, that certificate is the one that is technically being eliminated, so that you will not think, oh, once I have had this, then I think it is sufficient. And then it's probably also eliminating primary school leaving certificate, because we should know that this primary school leaving certificate is one of the recognized certificates that people get job. In fact, to be the president of Nigeria, primary school leaving certificate is sufficient. And that goes to another question. If you you this, maybe some portion of the constitution will need to be amended as well, so that it will cut out, it will delete this primary leaving certificate from it. So another concern will be this GS3 certificate is not only, it's also for a purpose, which is this technical school that Doggy and the Papa V has been talking about. The technical school, you need GS3 certificate to enter any technical school in Nigeria. In the UK, they don't drop off at year 9, which is equivalent to year 3. They even if they want to go to technical school, or you want to do apprenticeship, or you want to do or you want to go to university, you have to complete your year 11 and then write your GCSE. But before you write GCSE, they will look at your teachers will be monitoring you right from year 7, which is at GS1. They are monitoring you. You are doing some assessments, and then they are ranking you. Even in the same class, in the same year 7, all of you are not doing the same thing, even in the same class, because your class is not based on promotion exam. They are not writing promotion exam from primary 3 to primary 4, for example, or primary 5 to 6. you are writing you are doing just assessment, and the performance in the class could be, and I mean, they're not writing a promotion exam, they are using your age. It's your age that will determine your class. So what if you are complete Olodo, you don't know something? You will still be in that same class, and the way they will be teaching you will be different from the way they will be teaching other in the same class. So they continue the same thing until you enter year 7. And when you enter year 7, they continue the same thing until you get to year 9, 10, and you are about to write GCSE. So when you want to write GCSE, the GCSE is also not exactly the same. There are one for poor students, and there are one for brilliant students. So if you want to pick, and they call it they call it higher tier and foundational tier. So if you are writing foundation tier, that means you are not that very good, and they are not preparing you for maybe academic courses and things like that. But if you write higher tier, you have option of going anywhere. So it is after you write that GCSE that will now determine, okay, are you going for apprenticeship, or do you want to go to technical technical school, BTech, or you want to go for go to a degree to university. But in Nigeria, this is not the case. Once you have that certificate, for men, for boys, for male kids, you know, in Nigeria we know as male. This can sound like feminine something, but the reality in Nigeria is that for male, you know, you will get married, you will have kids, and then you will be responsible for your to do things for your family. For those ones, they know that once they have that degree, it is not the end. I mean, once you finish GS3, you still need to either go and learn trade or go and do something. But particularly in the north, once you finish that GS3, you just get married and your husband will take care from there. So this policy is not for just to eliminate exam or to eliminate a certificate, but to ensure that those ones are also retained in school until they complete their and it's also to complete their SSC the SSC exam, and then they can now decide to move on from there. And there's this question, I mean, Mazi, you asked a question that, do we want to get the best out of those who are currently in school, or you want everybody to be educated? I think everybody should be educated if you want a sane society, because maybe because of the way we are educating our kids, that's why we are asking this question, because education is supposed to inculcate value in us. It's not only being able to speak English and other things, but to inculcate national value, patriotism, and other things. And that's the only opportunity we have to impact those things in our children. So if we are now saying, oh, we want to get the best, that means we are trying to establish a class system. We are trying to establish where only those who are educated will have certain value system, whereas those who are not, they will have a different worldview, and then chaos will eventually erupt. So I think I should just end it here and then just ask that when we are making this discussion, we should again not limit it to exam, common entrance, and other things. States can decide to conduct any exam the way they want. When I was in secondary school, we used to write what is called joint exam. In the same local government, all of us will write the same exam, even though we are taught differently. But our final exam will be the same. Not only JS3, even GS1, GS2, GS3, SS1, everyone writes different joint exam because they believe that we have the same curriculum. So those exams is not only assessing the students, they are also assessing how are the teachers delivering the curriculum. Are they doing good job or not? Because there is a barest minimum that is expected that the average student should have, like they should attain in the curriculum, in the grading system, such that we don't want if it turns out that if a certain school, the highest mark they are getting is like 40%, 50%, and majority is like 20%, whereas in other school they are getting 70, 80, 90%. That means that they need to look at what are the two teachers doing. Are they doing their job or not? So we can advocate for joint exam. We can say a common entrance, but that does not mean after writing those exams, we now have a particular certificate to show that this person has completed this until you write the SSC, which is WAEC. So I also agree with the idea of not everybody should go to the university. If we want to improve our productivity, we need to ensure that people should take that, and that's why teachers should be they should be maybe properly trained. They should be more professional in the way they conduct the profession, such that they know the students themselves and they can tell you should go to this path, you should go through this path. Not, and then they should have this discussion with their parents rather than just allowing everybody to just keep going in mass without proper monitoring. So the teachers should be integrated into the policy, not just. And another thing that I think this policy will also address, which the minister mentioned, is the discrepancy in the number of primary school and secondary school. I have been to some countries, and I am aware about the education system that in general, number of secondary school are always fewer than number of primary school. But the gap should not be that much, because I remember the minister mentioned that the number of people that are enrolled in primary school will be like 24 million, and the number of students that eventually graduate at secondary school will be about 4 million. These discrepancies, where are the remaining 20 million? But another thing we need to interrogate is that data itself. How do you get this data? How are you sure that the numbers we are putting is correct? And that's another area we need to, give that accolades to the current administration, because now they have what they call learner identification number or something, where all learners in primary and secondary school will have a unique number, and we can use that to track the number of students we have currently in school and those who have even left school. And that will tell us the number of out-of-school children that we have. So when we are looking at the policy, I think
Can you round up statement? Yeah.
Yes, I will round up. So when why we need good data system? And when we are looking at a policy, I will implore us to have a holistic view and stop narrowing ourselves to what we know about cities or about our small circle. Consider what is going on in other parts that you may not be aware of, particularly in the north. Because when Nigeria out of school data is out, it will cover the whole of Nigeria. It will not be the only part of, maybe not only Oyo State or Ogun State or Lagos State. It will cover Zamfara, Kebbi, Jigawa, and all those local areas. So when we are discussing this issue, I will expect us to focus on the question of the constitutional amendment as regards some of the statements, like primary living certificate that we have in the Constitution. Then I also want us to also talk about the issue of technical school. Currently, you need this JS3 certificate to enter technical school. Are they going to amend that? What will happen? What is going to happen to that? Are we saying that we are moving it up? And when students finish secondary school, would they be interested in going to technical school at that stage? Because the certificate you come up with in technical school is at par with with SSC. So are they going to upgrade this also a little bit? So let me hand it over there. Thank you.
Thank you. So Yusuf, I guess Yusuf have a question for you. Then we'll go to Olapote. Then we'll have a Isaac. Then Prince.
Mazi, you'll have asked the question yourself, but it's fine. I wanted to confirm the school you served in Zamfara, where those girls got the betrothal offer during their GS3. As soon as they finished GS3, they got tutors, and they even did calendar or exercise book with their names. I wanted to know what percentage of those girls at GS3 are getting that treatment. That was the question.
Okay, yeah. I served in government girls Arabic secondary school, Gusau. But at that same time, because I was looking for money, I was also teaching in a private school owned by General New Gusau. But it's a male school. Where I was serving is a girls school, and you have very large number of schools. And just behind our face, there is Sambo Secondary School, which is also a male school, also very large number. Those ones, we have a lot of thugs among them. But they let me go there. So, but for the girls, a lot of them, in fact, anyone that doesn't do it will be ashamed. So it's only, but those who continue after GS3 is only those who come from educated family and they are in public school, because we have to also
No,
mention
you
that
mean
they
the
are
elites, the
the
not
elites.
educated, elites.
Yeah, okay, thank you. The elites. So the elites are those who will continue after GS3, but majority they will leave. I mean, it's a thing of pride to them. Like, if you don't have suitor that will celebrate you after GS3, you will not even come on that day, and to resume to school after you'll be like, what is going on?
Okay.
So it is a common, like it is.
Okay, noted. Thank you. Okay, I understand. That's 90% of them. When you say majority, yeah, 90%. That's or maybe 80%.
I know that.
That's what I wanted to know. I wanted to know what percentage of the girls. That was my question, actually. When you say majority of them, I wanted to know what percentage of the girls, since it's a girls' school. That was my question.
Okay. Yeah, Yusuf, yeah. Thank you. So let's have Olabode, then Obeni.
No, thank you. Statesman, man, my guy, I doff my heart for you. You did a perfect job already. Like, it's almost as if there's nothing to add. But let me, and you draw us to a blind spot that people had not considered, right? Even not me, but when you were speaking, I was like, this actually makes rational sense. Because sometimes we look at things from our prism, like you said. But I don't even want to focus on that. There's nothing to buttress on your point. But my position is the assumption, because people keep talking about vocational studies as though it is away from, theoretical education in itself that people learn in secondary school. Let me use practical courses, right? Bricklaying, motor repairs, electricity, becoming an electrician, whatever you want. Now, there's something called the NVQ in the UK, right? NVQ is on the job practice. But before you go to NVQ for most courses, electrician, I know that for sure. Plumbing, I know that for sure. Duct fitting, carpentry, a bit of it, it depends on how it is. What they do is you go to things like level 2. They would have level 1, level 2, level 3, right? Now, what you are learning in those things is equivalent to what we learn in our secondary school SS1 physics, SS1 chemistry, SS1 technical drawing to SS3. So all those things you learn are the things you learn to become an electrician. It is not a way from, it is another pathway to in the UK, right? So when you say vocational studies, that's how they do in no, these people are also learning, right? But what they do is make it easier to grasp. For instance, the way they do their calculation in for electricians wouldn't be the same way your teacher would teach you in Nigeria. It's almost assumed that you know nothing, so they have to make sure you understand it. They find a way to break it down to its simplest form. And I think that's where Mr. Victor has been missing it, because his own position on vocational studies is handiwork, right? You are not limited to handiwork. As a matter of fact, in the UK, you can be a mate for 200 years, if you like. You will not grow to become, say, an electrician. You will stay an electrical mate. That's the bottom line, right? But to become an electrician, you have to do the level 2, you have to do the level 3, you have to do AM2, right?
Then I think two other courses where you do exams too, like exams, and they go tougher as you go. Then you will do your NVQ, which is the hands-on qualification, right? From your NVQ, some people can go B Tech, and if you want to go apprenticeship route, what they do, and these things are Google, you can Google them. I'm not like Google them as I'm talking so that you bust my lies. What the government does is to have apprentices who would work in on the field, but also have days of learning in the class. So they partner with schools, let's say University of Greenwich, London School, London Southbank University, different universities anyway. They partner with them to offer certain courses, and then at the end of say six years, right, of both hands-on work and work in school like a student, or part-time student if you like, you get your certificate. So it's not interchangeable. They just create another pathway to it for you to be on a vocational, and that's why you will see people go from vocational, they go the vocational route to become things like project managers, construction managers, and become directors in that same field. It's not like they didn't go to school. They studied, right? They learned practically, and the other part of learning was intertwined in their this thing. If you don't want to go that route, you remain on the bottom floor. That's how you get CSS card. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Olabede. Thanks a lot. Another dimension. Okay, let's see if anyone can bring us back to what we were saying before. So let's have Obeni. Let's have it.
Sorry.
Hold on, Matt.
Good morning, everybody.
Hold on, Matt. Let's have Obeni. I beg you.
I just want to, I'm not giving any information. I just quickly want to correct something the other guy, the guy that spoke before this one, statement said about the TS system in the UK. Can I go ahead?
Go ahead.
Yes. You see, the educational TS system in the UK in secondary school is only restricted to maths and science. English and other subjects, they're not, With maths, you have foundation tier and higher tier. The same thing with science. With maths, if you're writing your GCSE, the top grade, if you're writing higher tier in maths, you may as well get from 1 to 9. The highest is 9. That's about A+. You understand? You could get 7, but with the foundation, you can't exceed 5. And the same thing is applicable to science. But any other subject, English, literature, geography, I think all the students will write the same exam. They know the test system is only restricted to maths and science, because my son just finished his GCSE, and I have another one in secondary school in year 8, so I know what I'm talking about. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. It's a personal experience, yeah. And then
can I say something?
No, that's what is applicable.
Okay. So, hold on. So statement, I will come back to you, so you can do that. Yeah. Okay. So let's allow Obeni to go. The Prince Rajaji has been here, and Yusuf. So Obeni, are you there? Please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm trying to get my space so that I don't get interjected, and I'll try to bring it home as local as possible. So before anybody asks, I've read the proposal, and there's a recent one that has been dropped again, and this is many of the paperworks that the Ministry of Education have been doing. I think one time they said they wanted to add Mandarin to it was a policy they brought that they want to add Mandarin, and I would love to ask rhetorically that where has that gotten us till now? So concerning this one of trying to remove the examination barrier of Beke, we call it Beke. I was a teacher in Ogun State, Nigeria for a decade. So we call it Beke, where GS3 writes exams. And it's a decision that I think they don't think about the consequences at the end of the day. For example, those exams are run by the state. There needs to be something after 3 years that distincts you, because there'll be a change of subject. And it's a marker, it's an assessment So, for example, I'm doing business studies from GS1 to GS3. If I fail business studies and I pass integrated science, they are no more doing integrated science, I've forgotten what they call it. But if I pass science, it's obvious that I will struggle in commercial. So it's an easy marker for those who are in the sector to know that, okay, when your result comes out, we know your strength and we know your weakness. That is the essence of the examination, because you are going into a new sphere of science, art, and commercial. If someone is failing literature and English in GS3, it is dumb for him. In fact, I wanted to study accounting. It was just so I failed it. I got D in business studies. I had the passion, but I couldn't even open my mouth because I knew that I would struggle in commercial. It's a matter because you are going into a new sphere. So there can be the argument of how some parents used to argue, yes, we have that, and it is not. It also gives job opportunities for even the state. Some people are setting the exams. Some people are marking it. They are external invigilators. There is an economy around it. But what we've seen from the Ministry of Education back to back is removing things like this. Today you say, they should remove Christmas party. They should remove all the parties. You don't know why they are doing these parties. When these children graduate, when they get to the outside world, they go to parties. You go to parties. So must you now hide it from them? Then when they now grow up, they now start hearing of parties. They started hearing from parties in schools, even in your houses. So when you just remove something and take a decision and say, we're removing this thing, we're removing that, there's an ecosystem around it already. And Mazi, the reason why this government does this back to back is because of their incompetence. Buhari's government, according to Osibajo, they knew that we had an out-of-school children problem. What did they do? They started the school feeding program. Mazi, they were feeding 9 million children. 40% of our population, let me not make it hard for you, 19 million people in Nigeria at the age of 0 to 14. 19 million. 20 million are out of school. Someone came and was doing school feeding program. School feeding program, go and check. It increased the people going to school by 30%. Mazi. It increased people going to school. Even girls were going to school. This administration has stopped it. Now you are saying you are bringing smart schools. Where are the smart schools? You've not even built them. You say you want to scatter and this and that. That's not why they are not going to school. The reason why people are not going to school, tell yourself the truth. You stop the school feeding program. It's simple, it's basic. Even we that are running private school, we know how children want to eat rice. We know how Nigerians love rice. And if you are feeding children every day, they will go to school. You now come and start bringing policies, decisions on paper. We remove this, and that's why they are not going to school. Scatter the whole thing, scatter it. And see, let me tell you, Maz, the reason why I'm sure and certain and bold enough to tell you all these things is because this is the same thing APC did in Osun State. APC people are not stupid. I mean, Osun State people are not stupid. This is the same chaos they caused in our education system in Osun State. Go is there. The records are there. Thank God for Adeleke that has come. Just thank God. And some people are sharing 2 notebooks on social media, 40 leaves notebook, telling us that they share 1 million to teachers that we should vote for APC in the next 50 days. Mazi, this governor has employed 5,000 teachers. Any intervention that Osun State is doing for education, they don't put it on is only public school. Public and private are working together. Mazi, this is another paper or strategy on paper in which the ministry, the Asiwaju government is doing again. Strategy on paper. And I've given you examples back to back on how they've been doing this. This is not going anywhere. It is even going to cripple some economies, and it's even the government that will lose. The state government will lose because they are the ones organizing these exams. And for those shouting common entrance exams, the reason why it was common then is because many people were going to federal schools then. When private schools started coming, they realized that they don't need it. But if you want to go to a federal school today, you will write the common entrance organized by NECO. I
Today?
will not just come.
Did you say today?
Yes, you write it.
Anywhere in
It
Nigeria?
is done by NECO. It is done by NECO. Common entrance. If you want to enter any federal university, federal secondary school, you write what they call it, common entrance, national common entrance. You write it. If you want to enter a model school or any federal school, you write it. My students, they come, you apply, you write, they will help you submit to the ministry. So it is still going on today. So in conclusion, I will not just come here and bash the government and not give them solutions. I'm a nice man. I will give them solutions. If you want to put policies or affect the educational system, number one, make your examination standard, NECO. Make those exams standard. Let people be willing to even write that exam. WAEC is more recognized, but you can make NECO also have value. If you have a NECO result or a WAEC result, Mazi, the best job you can get is no more than 25,000 naira. You can't get more than 25, 30,000 naira. It's POS machine you'll be working in. So I think they should make the examinations have value. I don't know how. And the education system is archaic, Mazi. You cannot be giving us curriculum where they are still teaching disket. It is the Ministry of Education that gives us the curriculum we teach. Anything you don't like that they are teaching, is the Ministry of Education that put it there that this is what you should teach. Make it more modern. Mazi, I was in Cardiff. Many of my classmates, many of them were teachers of under 14, under 13. That's what they do. So if you're a cricket manager, if you're a cricket player, you are a teacher for. I went to the swimming pool one day. At 10 o'clock, primary school children were already in the swimming pool. It is not in any public school. Let us not lie to ourselves. Even in a volleyball, it is not. It is just few. You can mention Lagos, yes. It is very, very few. Even in Ogun State, where I did WAEC Ota 4, Mazi, 54 private schools were registered for WAEC and NECO. Only one state school was there. Only one. In that Ado Ota. Only one. Mazi, in that school, let me blow your mind. That's where the WAEC main man will come. I'll conclude with this. That's where he used to come to. The students writing in that public school, when they write one paper, when they write English, maybe they write theory and they say they should go for break. Many of them will not come back for the OBJ because they've written rubbish. These are real life stories I am telling you about the public school system in Nigeria. Public school system, which the Ministry of Education is there, remove this, remove that. Go and feed these people. Start the school feeding program again. Thank you very much.
So let me correct something here. So school feeding program was suspended in 2024, but as I speak to you, it has been restored under National Homegrown School Feeding Program. This is under Renew Hope Initiative. It has also been restored. So school feeding program was suspended allegedly because of allegation of misappropriation or mismanagement of the program. So they suspended it, maybe to rearrange it. Now it has now been restored under Renew Hope Initiative, tied to National Homegrown School Feeding Program. So I think that has been settled. So if they have
should the federal be the one talking about school feeding? Should the state be the one talking about it?
Doggy, let's move the mic. I beg.
What are we doing here? What kind of rubbish are we listening to? Beg.
But federal have their own primary school, right?
Federal should not be talking about school feeding in primary and secondary school.
Where?
Federal should not be talking about school feeding in primary and secondary school.
Man,
It's not federal problem.
Wait,
Move Mike, I beg. Let's talk
stop
about
this.
something
Stop
else.
this. Let's have a conversation.
Mazi, move Mike, I beg. This is not a conversation to be having. We're having something that has to do with federal. State that is doing it.
Him is talking about if he made a point that when Buhari administration started school feeding program, that Nigeria children troop into a school, maybe because they want to go and eat food, not necessarily because they want to go and learn.
They should put a law that mandates states to be doing it. Not that the federal should be the one feeding children in.
No, don't get.
Federal is not federal problem.
What I'm saying is that when Buhari started it, he said that the number of school children that troop into a school increased.
I agree.
Hold on. That means let me make my point. Let me make my point. That means those students
smarter than Osibanjo.
Hold on now. Make a land now. When you speak, I'm not interject. Hold on, Obedi. I will give you a time. I don't want to use the mute button. I don't want to be doing this. So you have made that point. Now I'm not bringing a logic that okay. Now that means those children that went into that school because of school feeding program, they did not went there because of education. They went there to eat. They went there because they know that this is the place that I'm going to get the food. If I reach there, I will see a food to chop. Not necessarily because I want to go there and acquire education. So he wants
to they feed them in the UK too. Let them tell you they feed them in the UK. Should they collect tax in the UK? They feed them in the UK.
Maz, if a boy wants the children to be feeding, let him talk to his governor. His governor should be the one doing it, not federal. Move Mike, I beg. Let's talk something important.
Now, drag unnecessary things.
Let's talk about something important, I beg.
If you touch this school feeding,
unless you're on benefits, stop.
Raja, when you are about to talk, if you touch on this
until year 2.
Ahmad,
from year 3 to year 11,
Ahmad, please.
Unless you're on benefits.
Ahmad, can you hear me?
He's lying now.
Oh. So, Raja, if you touch on this school feeding program, I will drop you. So just know this now. Or go ahead and talk.
Okay, thank you, Martin. No.
It's even local government that are even doing school feeding, not even states. What? I beg, go and get yourself a bill.
Exactly. I'm not saying what he said. I'm just saying let's move Mike. You understand? People are making noise that VAT is 7.5%, but they want swimming pool in primary schools. Nigerians, Nigeria, I don't know how to qualify Nigeria. They tax too much, but you want a primary school with a swimming pool. Anyway, let's go back to the issue. Mazi, thank you very much, and it's been a while. Hope you are good. How is everybody doing? I think I saw Doggy last on Feminist Space. Mr. Daniel, everybody, I say hello. I want to approach this matter, from the angle of the policy, ideation, initiation, conceptualization, and then the structure, the governance structure around these things. Then I'll now land on the actual issue we are discussing. I think we in Nigeria, we go 3 steps forward and probably 2 or 1 step backward, because at a point you can see that the strategy and the direction of everything is decentralization, which is now making sense. Then we now come back. Permit me to, I'm always big on marrying the town with the gown. And we've established the fact that culture usually eats strategy for breakfast. Considering the Nigerian contemporary environment, we know that we are widely divergent from the socio-cultural perspective. So anytime we want to initiate or conceptualize policy, we must put into cognizance that discrepancy in socio-cultural setup. Somebody came here now and talked about the Zamfara this thing. Are you getting me? Giving us an insight. And mind you, whether 6-3-3-4, whether 6-5-4, whether you give food, whether you don't give food, there are some areas in Nigeria where nothing stops the children from getting education, at least until SSC, no matter how worst. And there are some areas that, if you like, they give them one cow, one this every day, then no go. So why are we deceiving ourselves? So we must look at the contemporary prevailing reality of the environment when we set policy, so while I am very, very supportive of this policy, I'm very, very pro vocational, let's emphasize more on practicalities rather than just theory. We must also look at what is obtainable, where and when. What do we school? What is our definition of school first? Is it classroom, blackboard, children and teacher? Or could it be a family of 5 with the elder ones are teaching the younger ones? So we need to first define what do we call school and people, which is consistent with our life. Now, back to the issue of the structure of the government and governance. I think there are some things the federal government is choking head, that all they need to do is to define the end. The means should be left to the national level. Let every state government look at the best possible means to optimize getting to that end. So for me, where I will fault blanket policy is that the reality in Kebbi is not with Kogi, it's not the same with Rivers, it's not the same thing with Lagos. So bringing such blanket policy, I think that is where we used to have problem. People have over time argued for asymmetric type of society system where you do what works for you. Like Doggy said, not everybody won't go university, but because the system in such a way has stigmatized not going to university, even person will not get business for university, self won't you get. There's something in the Yoruba land that this thing killed. We used to call something freedom. What is freedom? That time, you will see somebody when you finish secondary school, is either you are learning fashion or you are learning mechanic, you are learning this thing. And it's always a thing of pride. When you are graduating, they will call it freedom. People will carry a shoebi, then go do party, knowing fully well that when you finish, you are equipped, you say go get students, apprentices, where you go teach. That thing ran the Yoruba society very well until with due respect, Awolowo brought free education, and people saw that people who finished SSC were even being incentivized more by government than all these people doing practical jobs. And that thing collapsed, that structure. So I'm not saying Awolowo's policies were not beautiful. No, I'm saying that it was one-sided, such that everybody now saw that, if they keep learning this mechanic, or they do farm, or they learn tailoring, people will get SSC, then they get 505 and 2-bedroom flat. Let alone say you can't get NC or HND or even BSc, but nothing. There was no provision made for those people, that were actually doing practical classes, doing apprenticeship. That was what killed that system. And today, what's the result? A lot of unemployment, Yahoo, and scammers, as against before. I'm speaking to the Southwest because this is my reality and I understand, the dynamics. As against before, that time, if you see secondary school students will come out, I can bet you that more than half of them has already enrolled in an apprenticeship system. And we also see in the Igbo apprenticeship system too, particularly they are focused more on business, where one boy or one, whether he go school or not, he get one oga when they learn with, and over time. So that thing was actually a gradual, it was consistent with our socio-cultural setup. And that's why even without any government intervention, without any standardization, without any structural input or anything, it was working. It was working. All government needed to do was to formalize and standardize it. All government needed to do was to polish it. But then, people now saw that government was paying more attention to those who have paper certificates of SSC and university than so it killed that system because everybody wants something better. Are you getting me? Now, I want to speak as from my experience in well over a decade in civil service. While I appreciate, those who sit down to conceptualize and initiate policies, I think there's something fundamentally wrong in our policy from initiation to implementation stage. And what is that? When that very time that we want to conceive it, the people, the first line managers, those who will translate this policy into reality are actually not involved. And that's the only sensible thing I picked from the guy that was talking about they should go and feed them, that people are left here. The primary school teacher or the secondary school teacher, the actual average parent, are you getting me, in that environment, maybe the traditional leader also should be part of these policies from the initiation stage. Let me give you a practical example. I'm a monitoring and evaluation officer. My agency has the mandate of intervention, in health, education, and
Bluetooth connected.
or a volleyball court or a table tennis this thing for the school. And you get to the school and you discover that there is even no roof or desks. So the primary goal or the primary duty, the primary activity of school is not there. Then you want to go and give them what? Table tennis court, football pitch? Does it make sense? But if right from the inception, we that were first line managers were actually co-opted into that initiation, then we would have fed them with the information that no, this is the situation on ground. And then that policy would have been well shaped to be able, so that we now show a gown that is consistent with the town. Another example, when we were to be distributed and go for all these activities, they will group Ogun, Oyo, Osun. But we first line managers, you know that Agbara and Okoko. Agbara is in Ogun State, Okoko in Lagos State. But you know that the person handling Okoko can easily handle Agbara because of their proximity. But the person sitting in Abuja does not know this. Rather, he will not join Abeokuta with Agbara for somebody and then give Okoko and Badagry for somebody, when the person in Okoko would have easily handled Okoko, Agbara, and Badagry, which will optimize resources and be more cost efficient. So this is a very, very, very big lap in our policy ideation stage, not involving the first line, those at the bottom of the pyramid that will actually translate this thing into reality. Now, the other point I want to speak about, why I say let's decentralize this thing, is if we have a particular target or standard for our education, let the federal government speak it. Then let each state look for how they will reach that target. Not the federal government drawing. Let the federal government speak to the end. Let the states worry with the means. Now, if you go to somewhere like Zamfara, Kebbi, and Co., you know that if you have 100 students in primary school, banker, 70% of those children will end up being headers. You mean and you already know that. Or 70% of them will end up being farmers. So why not tailor an education system that will be consistent with that? Because that's also productive. It's also part of what we require. So knowing fully well from data and socio-cultural practices and prevailing cultural environment, you know that this is what they do. So tailor the education to that. So that from between that primary and secondary school, they are already having basic fundamental knowledges of farm practices, how to take care of animals, which animals have which disease, what is best to use, so that even when he finishes and he doesn't want to even proceed to university, he can actually be more productive with whatever cows his father already has that he's going to join. And if he decides to go ahead, then he might have picked interest more in animal husbandry or even research on how to make the animals more productive in terms of milk production or hide and skin. Now, if that is obtainable in the north, in the east too, somebody who you know that a lot of them, maybe the father already has containers being imported in the country, value chain and supply management. I waiting and call that in supply management. I mean, somebody give me that word. Something supply management. So tailor the curriculum to something like that. okay, goods and services, production, this thing. Tailor it so that when he comes out, even if he's not going to university too, once they enter the apprenticeship system, he already has basic fundamental knowledge of what can refine whatever it is his guy is doing. And come down to the south too, where we have people where they do, some people they do Kampala, their mama don't get in the cottage industry already for that. Some people they sell food, some people they do tailoring, some people they do carpentry, like Bini. We know Bini people like furniture. Why not tailor the curriculum to things like that? Things they are already doing. So that, these things will now help, Yoruba will say, so what I'm saying is, when we want to draw this thing, let's make it asymmetry. Let's make it what works for where it works. Not that the same thing you want to give to somebody in Kebbi is the same thing you want to give to somebody in Enugu, is the same thing you want to give somebody in Ogun. Meanwhile, their realities are different. So as much as there could be a general aspect in that curriculum, that will, have there will be common denominator for all of them, there must also be that specialized, arrangement that is consistent with their prevailing reality. So that's where I'm coming from. And finally, when we adopt policies, when we import policies, it's still on border of what I said, like from people from like the ones from Germany, where I understand that they even you learn, and that you didn't go to university does not stop you from reaching the pinnacle of your career. And that's one thing we also need to address in Nigeria today. That what value can you bring? You mustn't be a BSc holder or MSc holder to become a minister or whatever. What can you, if we see a track record, if we see evidences of you being productive, being able to organize people and resources, you should be able to get to some level, even not the highest level, but some, significant higher level in the structure of the society, so that those who are totally your part will not feel discouraged. Like I said, what discouraged a lot of people from apprenticeship in Southwest was they saw that the university graduates, the SSC graduates were better off in the system because there was no path for them. Meanwhile, those who actually, revive and sustain economy are these people. And this curriculum thing brings, to question our present educational system in Nigeria vis-a-vis the comments of the First Lady of recent. I was flabbergasted and overgasted that the so-called educated and enlightened people were against those statements, knowing fully well that in your economy, 90% of the component of your economy is the informal sector. This Yaonikulikuli, Yalakara, a vulcanizer by the roadside are the actual major brain behind your economy. In fact, today, or even any time there is recession or depression or anything in the economy, that is the first place where the economy gets to balance. And you see people, the supposed PhDs, supposed BScs, coming out to say, okay, no, you will come and tell me that Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world. And then somebody says, okay, let's empower people with 50-50K. If we can empower 2 million people with 50-50K, and let's see how they can, rejig the economy. And you come and say, no, 50K. Okay, give them 500 billion, may they go start refinery now. Abi, give them 500 billion, may they go start refinery. What school we even go, Seth? Sometimes Twitter keeps exposing that concept of educated illiteracy over and over again. We have too many educated illiterates on social media. Too many. If you understand fundamentals of developmental economics, then you will know that, particularly for an economy like Nigeria, the mainstay of our economy that is actually, sustaining us are these small and medium scale enterprises. Well, Mazi, I haven't said all this. I wish I had been able to convince and not confuse you that even though the policy is nice, it should, be tailored to, it should be regio-specific, or should I say socio-culturally consistent, so as to maximize the outcome. Thank you very much.
So this school feeding program that was introduced by Buhari's administration in 2018, Jesus Christ, in 2018, the number of school children that join school grown from 7.5 million people to about 9.5 to 9.9 million people. I mean, in 2018 to 2020 approximately 2 million people to 2.4 million people, additional children were added during those periods across 46,000 schools in Nigeria. So, it begs to ask, why was those children not in school before? Is it because they were hungry? They went to school to go and collect free food? Yusuf, maybe you should start from you and answer me, then go to Mr. Daniel, then we'll come back to Ogbeni. Yusuf, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Mazi. I think I even came before Raji, but Raji, you are doing fine. I think APC should send you to Channels TV or Arise. I think you are explaining these things more than those people that are going to sweat in the studios. Like the one, so they're just explaining, but I think you are doing better. But I actually requested Mazi, when this education thing is my field. So I will always love to speak to things like this. And I think a lot of people have spoken about the curriculum, the policies, and I'll start from there. I remember when, I think I agree with Dougie, that 15 years, 18 years threshold for you to go into the university, Mazi, it depends. That double promotion thing, if the secondary school feel you are bright enough, they will promote you to primary 6 at 15. So it's now left for the university to admit you. Some of my classmates were below 17. We have people like that. And some secondary schools, they don't even have, like, there are schools, I will tell you, in Kaduna, that there's no primary 5. If you see any student in primary 5, that means that student is not bright enough. Not all schools. From primary 4, that student goes to primary 6. If it's above average, and there's a threshold they use. And you still see people that, in secondary school, they get that double promotion. So if you are that bright, I don't think JAMB or any school should stop you from going to school at 15 or 16. You mustn't be 18. And there are situations like that. You can check the TL. But for me, I would say the policies look fantastic on paper, right? The argument of whether you have read it or you have not read it, no, they are very, very okay. The implementation is now the issue. And for the implementation, let me just react to what Raji said, because it's been long I heard him speak. Raji, when you talk about, these people, they know how to do carpentry, those other people, they know how to do, Kampala, these ones they can sell. Are you saying that now this policy should be regionalized? I think that's why it's national. So if we're looking at our various individual talents in geopolitical zones and how that affects the policies.
Sorry, Yusuf, 10 seconds. 10 seconds. That's why I said, let the trial government deal with the end of the policy. The end, as the end in economics, the goal. Let states handle the means, because the states are closer to the people and understand their reality. So if we are saying we want to be this by 2050, set by federal government, then let each state now look, okay, how best do we, with what we have and our challenges, to get there? That other two, we say, how best will it? Are you getting my point? So it is easier.
I get your point. So you are, in other words, you are saying now, those people were not carried along during the, putting up these policies together. Because if they've been carried along, I'm sure some of these things you are mentioning will have been addressed. Because a national policy...
I still think it's in the ideation stage. I don't think it's...
Let me finish, please. Let me finish. So go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Mazi. Well, so basically, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that the policies are fantastic. And I think people can even check. Ministry of Education has changed the curriculum of our primary schools, right? They've changed the curriculum. So I'm seeing, like, now there's skills acquisition from primary level. I keep giving this example. Mazi, there's this intro tech that people do in JS3. I think from SS1, yes, intro tech. Some of the things we are taught in intro tech, we still have to teach some people at tertiary level. That is the failure of the system. We have very, very bright people, we have average people, and we have people that, I don't know, they should have been doing something better. This classroom is not meant for them. and the only thing they can do is skills, right? But that sector, during the beginning of this space, Mazi, I was listening very early in the morning while you were speaking about, I think there are some courses that you do, apart from NEL fund, government is still giving you money, something like that. Those incentives.
I was talking about technical schools, right?
Yeah, technical schools. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So you see, those incentives will motivate people to join those courses, right? And like the example the other guy gave, the school feeding program motivated some people to come to school, but that is crazy in my opinion. I don't think we should be that. I think hunger is a problem then. If food will motivate, don't misconstrue me what I'm saying. If food is a motivating factor for people the number of people going to school to double, I think there's a problem. There's something wrong somewhere. There's something wrong. But if that will mobilize people, that motivate people to come to school, fine. So that incentive, Mazi, fine. But looking at the teachers themselves, somebody has spoken lengthily about our curriculum, and we try to compare our schooling system to the UK and the British and all of you, where we got it from. I think that was where Mr. Daniel was even, Mr. Victor was having the argument of 18 years and 16 years. Yes. And that's why I told that age, Mazi, at primary school, the brains of the children are at their freshest, how will I put it, state. It's easier for you to educate a small child than adults. I'm speaking from experience. There's one school in Zaria, Nigerian military school. Mazi, at GS1, GS2, these students are doing weapon training, map reading, obstacle crossing. The way you have your maths, English, and geography, they have weapon. They are doing those subjects at 12, 13, 14 years old. So the simulation rate of those children at that age, you cannot compare it to somebody that has finished secondary school and going to join NDA or the army or police to go and learn how to operate an AK-47. A JS2 NMS boy will unravel an AK faster than a sergeant that went through the adult education. So this is when the brain of the children is at their brightest. So I don't have a problem if you are keeping them for 12 years. But the argument that, you are keeping them for 6 years is you are not even sustaining the 6 years. Now you're looking at 12 years, or is it? I don't know the numbers right now, but you know what I'm talking about. That argument for me is not the bone of contention. What skills are we teaching the younger generation? There are courses in our universities, and regularly that's why I want to make you go Channels TV, make you go talk this thing. There are courses in Nigerian universities that is not adding anything to the country. Those courses should be scrapped. Let's look at what we are doing. Maybe University of Lagos, UI, ABU, or ATB, like 4 universities should keep on doing those courses. But we are graduating people every year that cannot survive on their own. They are reducing their ages to go for NYSC. Man, the people, they change their age to go serve. They don't reform NYSC. That is our reality. Because I don't know, people come from different backgrounds. If your families are not real, they are not rich, you can't have capital as a graduate. I know graduates that if you give them 1 million naira capital, they will forget about NYSC. Or NYSC will be their side hustle, depending on what they are posted to anyway. But unfortunately, the NYSC reform is changing. Education reform is changing. Mazi, why are these policies coming now when we are about to go into an election? And if these things come to pass, I'm looking at the bigger picture. Somebody says something, educating people is the best thing you can give to them as a government, right? I don't think feeding them is one of the things, but if feeding them, we make them come, giving incentives, we make them to come for education, fine. But Mazi, go and check our system. People that are going to Federal College of Educations, those are the people that are supposed to be our teachers in primary schools and secondary schools. Go and check how many people they put FCE for their jam form. Go and check. Everybody want to go to university, right? The FCE, now, what do you call it? Now, like the third it's not part of their scale of preference. So we are forcing people to go and study education. Although there are few people that choose to be educators, right? But a lot of people that are pushed to go and study agric extension and going to federal college education is because they did not get admission into the university or to the polytechnic, unfortunately. So our system should be able to make people engage those segments, those sectors. And it's the dichotomy that is causing most of these things, right? I don't know whether that has been solved, but since Saraki was Senate president, followed by the next, is it Ahmed Lawan, followed by Akpabio, I think it has been on the floor of the House about the dichotomy between the polytechnic graduates and university graduates. If that has been solved, I don't think people will be rushing to go to university, right? I use my mic. Thank you, Mazi. Raji will continue the back channel. For me for channel TV.
Thank you. This one you now say, must we bring election into every policy? We did NYSC. Why are they doing it now? It's because of election. Police, state police is because of election. This one now, we want to bring election again. As well as you don't suffer. Nigeria. Mr. Daniel, let's have you. They will have open.
Yeah, thank you, Gary. Yusuf will call himself lecturer in the education policy in the house of say how we relate to election. And you be lecturer, you know, even tackle that policy like person way the education. You must everything be politics, Yusuf. Everything must be politics.
Daniel, this one is politics for me, personally.
Which kind of politics? I beg. You see, Mazi, you know, the school feeding program, there are some things that federal government will go put in head where we know say, you know, good, they sustainable. Right? And it is part of all this funny school feeding, this. Number one, you see, the out of school children varies from one part of the country to another. The reasons why they are dropping out of school varies from one part of the country to another. So there are certain things that you will do. It is because you have done an assessment to know that this is the reason and you go ahead and do it. The person that actually, one of the persons that started it was Aregbesola, and somebody was even criticizing Osun State here. All news, no be Aregbesola starter. No be Indua. Amechi then, his wife had one NGO too that was doing one in River State there. So there are, I think even Kano, I think even Kano has one. So if you know in your state that there are particular things that you need to do, you put it in place and ensure that you do it and you make sure that it is sustainable. And thank you, Jare, Mr. Ahmed. And when you corrected UK, you go be like say some of us never go that UK before. Say that they feed everybody. Like say we know they go that UK, or we don't even live for that UK self before. You see, one thing that I like what statesman said, even Mr. Ahmed, Mr. Olabode too, is that there is no standard age all around the world to go to vocational or to even go to a university. Why some place now 18, some place now 16. Nigeria doing own where we say you can go from vocational from year 10, which is JSS 3. In the UK, it will be like that. Mr. Ahmed, please, you can correct me because that's what the statesman said. If I'm wrong, you can correct me.
Can you please repeat yourself, sir?
Yes. In the UK, when they want to go to vocational, that they are vocational pathway, do they do it mid-school or do they do it when they get to their year 5?
No, no, year 5 is a primary school. I think you have to finish your secondary school after your GCSE. That's when you
okay,
to proceed.
Very good, very good. Very
after
good.
your year
Thank
11.
You, sir. So, after year 11, yes. Sorry, Jari, I see they call on year 5. I see they use year 5 secondary school those days. Sorry.
Grandpapa.
So what I mean...
5 for Mr. Daniel do.
So what I mean is year 11. But in Nigeria, it's not year 11. It is year 9. In the UK, there's a terminal exam they take at year 11. In Nigeria, you take your WAEC at year 12. So each country will look and design what they believe is suitable for them. At a point, standard 6, first school living, was enough for a very solid basic education because the competition was not much. People were easy to get a job. Later, it was reviewed. Later, you could still use your school leaving certificate. Now, I'm very sure you cannot even use it to secure any job except political office now. So the standard, as they change, you go to change things. One thing I know, and thank you, statesman, because I also explained it earlier, that it seems they've looked at data and they saw that people drop out from that GS3. You know, down here in the South, we don't consider that BCE. We don't consider it anything. We just consider it something that you will take when they go take filter you as you go up. But in some places, it's actually a certificate. In some parts of the north, it's actually a certificate where I know that I've collected the certificate and I can say, oh, I've attained my education to a particular level. At that level, you are meant to either go to vocational or continue, but some people will not continue. So what they are now telling you is that, please, this thing, let us remove it so that people will know that you follow your distance to year 12, which is SS3. And by the way, that BECE, state on state level, I am a parent, I have children that have taken it. For a lot of school, they also have their own standard because that BECE is too low for them. So when the students write that one, the school will set another one, do psychometric tests for them. It will be part of the report that they will send to you, their parents, because they are telling you that this one, because usually those statewide exams are usually not set with the highest standard because they will look at the average all around the states. And for some schools, most of the private schools, that thing is too high, is too low. So the schools will still have to conduct their own exam within school to assess their children because the junior WAEC is mandatory that they must take. Same applies to entrance exam. The common, it is too low for a lot of schools. They don't even consider it. They have their own. That is very tough, depending on the enrollment to certain schools. Those schools that you know, enrollment or admission is always very, very competitive. If you go for the exam, it's always very, very hard because they want to screen people out. So at least for that, we have even agreed. No, my children they never took it. So it's not by force, unlike junior WAEC, where you must take. So they've looked at it and told themselves that, come, oh, this BECE, maybe what you are trying to use it to achieve self is not good enough. Or that 9 years is not good enough. Let us have 12 years. Let us also understand, and I'm talking as a parent, that while some of our children now academically are very sound, when you look at what they can do academically and you look at their emotional maturity, you know the balance. Look at JAM score. Some of those children, no be 15 years, 16 years. JAM score, they call this Chingon. My own time, if you score 230, 240, you'll be Oga. When boys go score 212 like this, you go the jubilate. That 200 and something, I don't even reach. Everybody does they carry, I don't see 300, 320, I see 366, 370. I say, how can somebody be scoring this kind of in JAM? And mind you, it's not as if JAM is easier. It's not easier for anybody come and tell you now that it's easier. It is not easier. Now lie. But there's a way they are training some of these children now that, like, when my son in primary 5, I was going through their maths one time. I saw that they are teaching them subject of formula, quadratic, some kind of quadratic equation. I they see bearing. I say, I can't call their teacher. I say, what is that? Are you loading this children? No, he said no. That is the reviewed curriculum. That is the curriculum. That is not as if they are coming. They are giving too much. I say, yeah, because me, I know when I do some of all these things, and I know say no be primary school I do, no be primary 5. I know, but then they use that thing now. They do chin. If you can't get picky when they go for competition, Olympiad, everything, go check their mass. Shebi na here tweet one day, my pikin go for Olympiad. That is the one even representing my state. I can't carry the thing. I want to do like that. When the guy come like the guy they correct me, I just take style come on for there. I got to look, say, how can you be? Yes, now I take style come out now because I dey look and say, primary 6. Because it's a primary 6 now. I say, how can primary 6 be doing this? However, if you say because of that, you won't push that pikin, make you just go secondary school. Sometimes they do like body, like they never emotional maturity, it never did. That is why for all my children, I don't do primary 5. You go do primary 6. Because for most of the schools now, some schools, they will insist on age 11 by the time they are entering year 7 in their school. Some school will insist. I've never seen any school, because when people are saying it is 12 years old, I never seen any school where they do 12 again. 11 for the very top ones. But some, because they even want children, they overlook it, they enter 10. But me, I always insist that you must do your primary 6. Because I want that, you are not rushing anywhere. I want you properly grounded. So there are different things that government looks at. But one thing that I just knew when I saw that they were saying that people were dropping out from that distance, I said that it is because people, that means this certificate, where will they take the play? Some people actually, because it is a statewide exam, some people, and now states they issue them. Some people see it as, I have finished an order in my education, I will go. The reason why I requested the mic actually was when NYSC was criticizing party. Say party. Number 1, it's not even federal government. Number 2, it is states. But as a parent, if you talk that thing, I will tear your clothes. Why? That party is rubbish. Every state that has banned it, God bless you. People don't understand. Let me explain what is happening to you. Let me explain. When children finish, is it kindergarten that they call it? That one that they start with to go to primary.
They don't make us with that. They will do graduation.
Wait, better break and down for people, because it be like say Egbo is and a party goer in life party where make I tell people waiting they happen for kindergarten. When you finish kindergarten, small pikin of 4 years old, then go do party graduation to primary 1. When you reach primary 5 or 6, then go do prom to GS1. When you reach JSS 3, going to SS1, they will do another party to cross over within the school to SS1. When you can't do SS3, they will come do another one, and that one will be the grand finale. If your pikin goes some kind school, when they tell you the kind suit, they will tell you the design, they will tell you what they want. Now that won't be the orga of them all. Where they go take go university.
So
how many parties they don't do, I beg? How many parties they don't do? And you see, my problem with this party is that you don't have a choice. Do you know what they will do? It is part of your bill. The school will bill you for it. It is part of your bill. They will put it there. So you cannot say, I am not doing. You will pay for it. What some state government have said is that no, you can only do parties in terminal classes primary 6 and SS3. Some states have come and say you cannot even do anyone except to get to SS3. Waiting kindergarten pikin understand about party. They know waiting they happen. Now parents, they do that thing for themselves. And some schools will milk it. My boys in primary 6 now, I paid 240,000 naira each for their prom. Each of them. And you see, the thing they pay me say that thing no day here. If you say the River State don't start that thing, I will do a lot for that their school, say I no do again. Because do you know what? They no born you will make you no pay. If you no pay, your picking, you see, your picking go fit as if they go just finish you. Say all my students are doing this thing. Now, let me tell you, outside that money, we now pay about 100,000 or something for excursion, a terminal excursion. They will take them here. They call it enjoyment. You will pay that one. This one is not part of school fees, so you will pay that one. That was what they will take them here. They will say they are going to zoo. They will go here. They will do there. Oh, you won't keep parents. Now, for that party, your boys or girls, they must wear gown or they must wear suit. You go buy suit. My pikin, all the suit we they get, it don't turn jumpology. Because I don't know what they do, 2 of them. They almost don't reach me. And they never 12. Now, I will now go and be buying another suit that will do jumpology again. Suit is not even 30,000, it's not even 40,000. You see all the money where they calculate for you? Somebody will not tell me that I must do that. No. If parents want to bring themselves together and say, let us celebrate, we don't have any problem, but no school putting it as part of your bill and telling you you must do it. And you must, because it is part of your bill. The truth of the matter is that some parents, they like all these things. So some parents, you see, in my daughter's school, this is a digression. Do you know what? The school had to pass a law or a rule that if you want to do birthday, that birthday what they do, they gave you a person that you must buy cake from. They gave you size of the cake that you must buy. And they gave you drinks and snacks that you must share. You only pay to a particular person. And it is only that thing that they can do. Do you know why they started it? If some people want to do birthday for their pikin with their school, wait till they go share. When you see the bag, you could go cash you as parents. They were using it to do, I big pass you, I do pass you, I do this one. It was not causing problems. School now said, okay, everybody, this is the rule. Your cake, you can only buy it from Bashorun Cake. They will give you the number. Pay this amount. You cannot do more than that. It is because sometimes parents, they overdo. Now, this might picking what they tell you. After all this prom for school, parents come together. Come say, let us do another party. We want to be giving them customized pillow. I say pillow kill all of them for them. I don't they do anything again. What? They are in primary school. They are not going to secondary school. They have not even started their life. You will do this, you do that, you do this, you do. You won't say became no book again. So that party, we need more states to ban it. If you want to do party, parents come together and organize it. Another thing that I need states to ban is all this one-use textbook. There are some textbook. Sorry, it's a digression, no, because Nancy, they pay me and they tell you now, because all these things, they pay me, they suck my money. They will tell you that one-use textbook. So that textbook, there's a way they do it. You use it, you write inside. So that means, like our own time, if you finish, you pass book to your junior ones. Oga, this one, you know the work. You will be buying book. And those books, the school, they use about 300 markup. What is the meaning of that? Why? But I must give my daughter's school. I must give them their props. What they did, what they do now is that they rent those books. They will give those books to your children to use. So they call it rental. So especially all these, their international book, you just pay maybe 100,000 or 50,000 or something. Because if you have to buy some of all those books, it will be so high. So when you see the money that you are paying, but if you want the book for your picking, you go buy them. But that one, when they will give your picking, they will collect it back at the end of the term. So at the end of the day, when you are paying for books, you are not paying millions. Because as they are going up and they are buying some of all these books, when you see the number of books that they will buy, my brother, you go faint. Oh. Then on curriculum, that curriculum is not on paper. Oh. My daughter for school, I will send this to you. They do hardware and GSM repair based on this new reviewed one. So if you think that some of all these things, some schools they do them, it's like an elect. You go choose. They go. I think they have makeup. They have different ones. You see GSM repair and hardware something. Then they do them. I don't know. You see, and that is why I've continued advocating for something. Let our public schools. You see, the gap between private and public schools is too much. That is the problem. You might go to some public schools now, they're not doing any of all these things. But if minister talk that thing, I see them inside result, then they do them. So when they pass some of all these things, it might be difficult for government to even implement, but sometimes some of these private schools, they will just pick them up, pack them, then go do them. So that is what I want to say. There must be no party. There must be no party. I'm waiting for all the governors of this state. If you want to do party,
Soludo have banned it in Anambra. Soludo have banned it.
Yeah. Don't make it mandatory that the school will be putting it in my bill. No. Let the parents come together and say we want to do party for our children. You will do party kindergarten, you will do party the JSS, you do. What is the meaning of that?
Mr.
So so all the governors that have done it, more Chris to your elbow. The governors have not yet to do it. Please, we are waiting for you to ban it. Make it only terminal. Some of them have said it's only primary 6 and SS3. Some of them have said only SS3. I don't see the essence of kindergarten. Some of all these things in school, they take and they chop money. So I will leave it there. Mazi, thank you.
Okay, let's have Obeni. Obeni, please go ahead. Isaac.
Thank you very much. I don't know what to say because Mr. Daniel has just been busting my ribs here with the funds he has been talking about because those are source of incomes. Imagine collecting that money from like 600 students, 400 students. It's quite a good source of income. But one truth I will tell you is that those parties are necessary. And the case where you are talking about birthdays, I agree with you. We also had that case as a school owner. I know you are talking as a parent and that's how you guys see everything. But as a school owner, the case of the birthdays, what we did is that if your child is doing birthday, you just bring cake, snap picture, and whatever you want to give, you don't give children or you don't give the class people anything. You just give the teachers. So whatever you want to share, you share it for the teachers. So that's what we did in our own. So whatever those concerns you made are very valid, where one parent will want to bugger the other parent. It happens everywhere, but it just depends on how you. And I promise you, some schools cannot curtail it. Some parents go wild. Some schools can't really even curtail it. So I get where you are coming from. But what I am focusing on personally in this conversation is about the public school system. We really don't have many of those things. And I don't think it is necessary for the government to be interfering in it because there is an economy on it already. Those DJs that come, they get paid. we have a personal woman, Yalara. She cooks for all these parties because in my own place, when we are advertising any event, excursion, it is the rice, bro. Our parents know us for our rice because Nigerians like rice. And it takes me back to what the government was doing before. Whosoever that wants to come and say they put it under one program, they put it under another program. Thank you, Maazi, for mentioning how it impacted from 7.5 to 9.5 or 9.8. You can see that is 30% increase. So if that program was working, why have they stopped it and started bringing paperwork? For me, this is paperwork, and I say, okay, and some of them, we've seen that because they collected Becker, they will now go to school. No, that is not what is causing it. It might be a factor in some areas, I agree. But you cannot now say because it is a factor in some areas, you now want to cancel it in all schools. These states make money of it. Some people, that is what they do. You now want to remove their jobs. There are some people that market. There are some people that invigilate. So assuming the government has enough schools, they can say, oh, in our own schools, we've cancelled it. Okay. But not that you now say you've cancelled it, both private and public. I don't agree with it. And I might be talking like a school now because for Becker, we enroll over 100 students every year. And for us, it is a marker. You cannot fail, I said, you cannot fail science and be saying you cannot fail literature in English and say you want to go to art class. It will talk to you, will counsel you. Rather than now to start again, you say we should do another exam. No. They've studied all their life for 3 years. They want to move into another phase of their life. They need an assessment that makes them choose for the future, for another set of 3 years, even to their extended life of how they want to go. If some people are now saying that that's where they want to stop, entice them to go back to school. It's simple. Entice them to go back to school. And why I am calling UK, Mazi, this is the problem I have on your spaces. With all due respect to everybody, my location now does not affect my impact or my conversation with people. If we are speaking about education, I am not undermining if you've been to the UK before, if you've not been. I am not undermining. I respect everyone with all humility. Oluwani Shola, you know me, Oluwani. I'm just here to speak on the issues. If I mention the UK, it is because when you people come here, every time you say the UK increase tax, remove tax, I am telling you the UK also feed their children. Don't now come and be telling me about immigrants. They feed their citizens because they want them to go to school. They give them potato. So everybody in their own school know how they entice. It is not because the children like food. Everybody likes food. So let us not now start saying, is it because of rice they are going to school? No. You can entice people. Even here, according to some people that I met, some students that I met that went to college here, the guy was telling me his own experience. He said they were giving him £3 per week and some money per week, and they were even giving food money per day. They will send it to him. Even summer, they give him money for summer. He came from Sudan. You might say his own case, you can give me 100 reasons why. But
so the guy that came from Sudan, was he born in the UK? Egba Isaac, was he born? You need to
please. I did not interject anybody now. I did not interject anybody.
Let us speak, Abeg.
No, someone that came from come and claim asylum.
Let the guy speak now. Let the guy speak now. Let's talk freely.
When I finish, don't divert the point. The point I'm bringing to you is that if you can compare the bad things in UK, if you can compare the bad things in US, stop quoting me to have been to here. I don't want to know. I respect you. I don't want to know. My point is, if you can compare these bad things, they should tax us. Yes, tax the UK. Please focus on that point. Stop telling me the person. Focus on if you can compare it. Let us compare it to that they are feeding people there. If they are even feeding immigrants, how much more their citizens? How will they be taking care of them? So if we are saying Nigerian government feed these people, you can say, oh, it is not their job. It is state government. It is local government. I agree with you. But this message is coming from the federal government. The past federal government
fed these people. So if revenues are increasing, if external reserves are increasing, that means there is more money. If you are removing everything and you are comparing with other countries, please let us compare the same thing. So don't now get confused and come and be shalaye. That's shalaye. Don't shalaye for me. Is this person? It depends on this person. Face the issue. If we can compare the bad things or the enforcement in the UK, US, that is my point. Let us also compare the good things that is happening there. Don't put the if on it as if it's Nigerians also deserve good things. If you can see that this thing, they were 7.5 million out of school, but they were 7.5 million, they increased. Why can't they do it again? Why can't we ask? You are not even in government. I'm not in government. The more people that are out of school, the more money I gain. The more money I gain. Come on. Thank you, Mazi.
Mazi, can I quickly correct this man?
Go ahead.
You see, in the UK, you don't have access to, not everybody, you don't have access to free school meal. You don't have access from reception, year 1 and year 2. From year 3 to year 11, you have to pay. Like for my, be careful. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
for my children now, my son just finished his secondary school. In fact, today is his prom. He just finished secondary school. I was paying almost £800 per year for my son and my child. But if you're on benefits, yes, you can have access to free school meal from year 3 to year 11. But automatically, you are not automatically, you don't have automatic access to free school meal. If you are not on benefit, you have to pay. It's only from reception, year 1 and year 2. So that's what I'm trying to correct. Thank you.
I mean, to add to that, thank you for the clarification. I also know about this. So it's just so funny when Amazi, can I go ahead, please? I won't be long.
Go ahead.
It's just so funny when some people, as if this UK is not with this UK we did, but I don't want to address that again. So when you mentioned that some people are paying summer money, some people are doing this thing, you don't even know the context in which the guy is being paid, whether he's claiming asylum or maybe he's on receiving benefits. It's not everything that we just see in there. You just come here and say it's something that you don't even have idea of. So it's just so funny, honestly. The funniest thing is when we look at the way our own education is being run, some people come there and say that our education is so bastardized and we're doing something is so archival. I was like, come on. You know that in this same Nigeria, most of the students in this UK, most of the teachers now are from Nigeria. And they're getting good cash, good money for it, monthly. Some people have even paid. One of my friends was even saying that he wanted to get a teacher in Nigeria. He's been bid for about 200k every month. So it's not
the teacher that taught my son, sorry to cut you, that taught my son GSS maths was from Nigeria. I was paying almost 50 pounds.
Yeah, that's about
per section before. I was paying almost 50 pounds per section for a teacher in the UK, but I had to it's too much.
Honestly,
so I had to get a teacher from Nigeria. My friend introduced me to a teacher, and I was paying 150,000 a month.
Yeah,
and it takes him three times in a week.
Just 3 times in a week.
Yeah, 3 times in a week. But the other UK teacher that was taking him math before was charging me 45 pounds per section, and it takes him twice in a week. 45 pounds per section. That's about 90 pounds in a week.
And yeah, some people will still come here and ridicule the education system. This reform, honestly, it's not like it's a bad reform. One thing about Nigeria I've seen is that they just whine and complain about everything this present administration is doing. It's not like it's not a good reform. They don't just like the person that is doing it. They don't have anything to campaign on. That's just it. It's not like they don't like the reform. The reform is good. We all know. But they don't like the person doing this reform. So there's nothing you're going to do about it. This reform will stand and Nigeria will prosper. That is my own. Thank you, Mazi. I read the mic, Jerry.
Thank you. True Not, are you there? Can you hear me? True Not.
Yes, I can hear you.
Please go ahead. Don't have Bashoro. Don't have Big L. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Mazi. So respond to some of the points that Mr. Daniel, said in his submission. But before that, let me just say this. Yesterday, there was one handled. I tried to remember it, but I'm unable to do that now. And he was like, the NYC at the NYSC. Okay, this is what he said. Okay, NYSC is being reformed for the first time after 53 years. And I look at that statement carefully. It was like a colorful banner that was, designed and captured all the 11 points for the NYSC reform. And the title was that for the first time in 53 years, NYSC is being reformed. And I was like, okay, that's a good thing. But are these reforms being, announced just for the sake of numbers, or there is a need for them and the right procedures are being followed? Because whether right or wrong, Tinubu administration has announced a number of reforms in the education sector. You can remember the policy on university moratorium. You can talk about the policy on including Mandarin language into our curriculum. There's the policy of nationwide curriculum review. There's the policy that, remove the entrance examination for certain courses into universities. And then there is this policy of 12-4 into our own education system. These are policies, you understand. Whether they are right or wrong, the government will be credited with the number of policies it comes up. And I believe it's time for us to take time and, evaluate those policies and see whether they are indeed serving the purposes that they were intended to do that. Now, let me respond to the point like I said, Mr. Daniel talked about. He said in the South that they, including himself, don't bother about the BSCE certificate, but in some places in the North, that people do and take it as something like that. But here is the point, Mr. Daniel. BSCE certificate is meant to qualify children for admission into senior secondary school. It's never meant for anybody to seek employment for it. And if you look at the reasons why people use that, to assume that they have completed their education, it's not because of the certificate itself. It's because of the prevailing, circumstances some of us, found ourselves. So when the Ministry of Education, put forward retention as the reason for removing that, break, I think they are not being fair to Nigerians. Why do we have dropouts, or what are those factors that ensure retentions in our educational system? That JSCE break, or transition has never been found to be a reason for students drop out in our educational system. There's never been any scholarly article, scholarly work that points to that as a reason for students drop out. Most scholarly, work, believe that financial and welfare incentives are one of those reasons that make people or children to drop out from schools. So if the governments want to ensure, retention, they need to look at those reasons that brings about, dropout and address them, and not just to say, okay, we're changing this policy because we want to ensure retention. It's not the right policy. those breaks, academic breaks, they are very important. Demands, okay, break or holidays from academic demands, they are aimed to allow students and teachers to rest, distress, identify, recollect, and celebrate achievements. So the number of parties that children, that being organized for children at every academic achievement is to encourage them to work more. I would like to see those parties increases if we can afford them. If a child completed kindergarten, celebrate with him. If he does that for primary, for JC, celebrate with him. It's an achievement. It will encourage him to work more. It won't stop him from going to school. We have a lot of holidays in Nigeria, and those holidays are important. If you look at them very well, you can group our holidays into three. We have the Muslims holidays, we have the Christians holidays, and then we have the national holidays. All these are very, very important. They are necessary. We need them as parents, as children to go to school. So the point I'm making is that those parties do not stop children from going forward with their own education. On the contrary, they encourage them to go ahead and continue their education because they want more parties. So I disagree with the idea.
I don't know if interrupt you, but I think you missed the point Mr. Daniel was making. He was not making it on the behalf of the children. He was making it on behalf of himself, spending the money. He was talking about how those activities is training people.
No, I'm coming, Mazi, I'm coming from the educational, angle right now. Academic holidays or breaks, as they are called in some other places, they are reasonable and we need them. But as parents, as government,
when you were in school, true not?
Yes.
Did you go to holidays?
What you said?
When you were in school, did you attend holidays?
Of course.
So did they throw a party for you? Did they throw a party for you?
Mazi, not all the holidays because of my economic situation then. Not every holiday. But today, parents can afford to host parties for their children. And if they can do so, for me, it's an encouragement to those children to work hard. That's the point I'm making. Anyway, back to the issue of this 12-4, I'm saying that the reason they advance, as this will ensure retention, is not, practical. What makes the student drop from school it has to do with financial, difficulty, security reasons, and those reasons are even varied from region to region. Break or examination or qualifying exams has never been found to be a reason, for student drop out of our schools. These things can be verified anywhere. So that's with regards to the second point. I don't think it's the right reasons to give. Now, Mazi, back to the issue of NYSC. We've been debating this yesterday. I've been to many spaces and I gave my own, stand with regards to the reforms. There was an article published in 2014 by Chidi Amuta, if I got his name correctly. And in that article, the name of the article is something like NYSC Then and Now. And he asked a very, reasonable questions. The question is like this. I'm now rephrasing, not word by word, that has the NYSC achieved its objectives? If it does, then we don't need it anymore. We need to replace it or even scrap it entirely. And if it has failed to achieve its set objectives, that's the more reason why we should scrap it. We don't need it anymore. We have evolved as a people. Are we talking about unity? Are we talking about restoration? The 3 R's? What did it stand for? Help me. Rebuild. Reconciliation and all this. Has the scheme achieved its objective? If it has, then let's scrap it. Let's come up with something that align with our reality as a people in the 21st century. Give people the options, to decide where to move forward. And I gave what I believe should be part of the reforms. I argued about the fact that if the government insists on retaining the scheme, then one, it should be made voluntary, not mandatory again. It should be decolonized. Allow all categories of Nigerians who wish to take part in that service do so, and let anyone, irrespective of his age, who doesn't want to go, let him opt out. Right now, as we speak, many Nigerians are being denied the opportunity to serve, even though they want to, on reasons of age, even though we know that there are reasons beyond our control that make some of us graduate after 30 years. Some of them want to go, but they are denied that opportunity. And we have people who don't want to go, are mandated to take part in the scheme. If they don't, they will not get job. They won't even be admitted for master's program, because the requirement is that you have to produce certificate of discharge or exemption before you can be admitted. Those policies are discriminatory. It should be made voluntary, because it's national service. People should be allowed to choose. That's one of the areas I think the reform should look at. Secondly, like I said, it should be decolonized. There's no reason why you invite Nigerians for training and you force them to wear shorts. It's indecent. There's no dignity in that. Nigerians should be allowed to dress, in long, outfits to ensure to promote decency, honor and dignity. That should have been, changed long ago. But this is an opportunity to ensure that yes, we can do that. Mazi, I also argue about the lack of equity in the federal allowances that is being paid to co-members. I give an example for me. I'm from the north, and I was posted to the south without giving the options to say no. And somebody from the south, let's say Calabar, is taken to Sokoto, and then Abubakar from Jigawa to Lagos State. We all know that the living expenses in those states are not equal, and you subject us to equal federal allowances. For me, that's not fair. If you want to pay us equal allowances, then give us the options to choose where to serve. Given the option, I will not go to the southern Nigeria because it's more expensive to live there than the north. So if you want me to go there, then make provisions and give me what reflects the cost of living, in that part of Nigeria. For me, that's what I call equity and fairness. Also, you look at the number of Nigerians, co-members, who go out of their own ways to seek redeployment. Some Nigerians spend money to make publications, false publications, that they are married or that they have these life-threatening illnesses, simply because they want to, redeploy back to their state of origins. So why don't we, if the scheme must be maintained, why don't we make it regional or even state of origins? Because co-members are still going back to their state of origin. How many of them stays, still where they're posted to? Find out the data, you'll be shocked. Most Nigerians pay huge amount of money just to be redeployed. And we know all this. So why are we pretending as if people, stay where they've been posted to? They don't. So these are some of the reforms that I think the federal government should look into them, and ensure that yes, the policy, if it must be returned, it's updated or reforms to align with our reality. Mazi, if you take somebody from Sokoto to Calabar, he shouldn't be given the same transport allowance like somebody from Kebbi to Kano. It shouldn't be the same. It should reflect where the federal government is posting you to. This is a federal government initiative. It's not as if I applied for a job, got the job, and I was posted to Equerepeme. No. It is you that want me to go there and serve. Okay, cater for me. There should be that equity and fairness. How about ensuring that every crew member who is traveling, you know, in answering to, that call to service, has travel insurance in event of road accident or anything. All these things should be looked into so that whoever is participating in that policy knows that the federal government that wants him to has, what do you call it, a comprehensive plan for him to participate and make his contributions to, the nation building. Uh, let's also look at the issue of unity. I argued that we have, university education make us unite more because we can be together with Nigerians from all over the country for 4, 5, or 6 years, depending on your program of study. That is where we even unite the more than just the 1 year mandatory services. So we are already having a program that ensures unity in our own educational system than that 12 months of service. So these things are what I believe should form part of the reforms. Being a participant myself and also a Nigerian, that I want to see dignity, honor, and fairness in the policy if it must be retained. However, if they want to replace it, I recommended something like National Homecoming Community Services. What do I mean by that? If I get admitted to, let's say, if Afi Babalola University, is it in Ogun or Lagos State? So I go there, I accept the admissions, and I go there and stay for 4, 5, or 6 years, depending on my program of study. I have already, blend with more Nigerians than the NYSC can afford me to. I have contributed my own quota to the growth and development of Ogun State or Lagos State. After graduation, I can, the federal government should have a scheme that, okay, go back to your state now, now implement the knowledge, the skills you have acquired there, work hard. Now being posted back to my state of origin, there's this natural urge for me to do more than when you post me to where I don't want to. I would do that. I would contribute to the growth of that area more than where I don't want to serve. So Mazi, we can reform it to reflect our reality other than sticking to an old ways of doing things and ensure that and expect that we'll have different results. So this is okay. Let me learn on this. Let me learn on this. Okay, go ahead.
No. You. I want to ask a question to get what you're saying about university relationship has promoted unity amongst Nigerians more than NYSC. Is that what you said?
I said the opportunity to unite in university is more than that in the NYSC 12-month period.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, promoted because the reason for the creation of the NYSC is to indirectly or directly promote unity, right?
Yeah, as one of the reasons. Yes, one of the objectives.
One of the reasons. So you are saying that someone that is being posted from Anambra to Jigawa in one of the community in Jigawa, who have opportunity to live in Jigawa for more than a year, for let's say close a year or a year, to know the culture or the language, the body language, whatever thing those people are being known, to study them for a year, and while he was serving or he or she is serving, is not in a good way promoting the unity, but the university relationship.
No. I'm saying that if he is interested in learning about the culture, the ways of life of those people, he has more time as a university student to do so than in 12 months of NYSC service. That's my point.
Well, I don't agree with you.
You don't have to. You don't have to agree with me, but at least you will agree that 4 years is more than 1 year. Because
I know, but you are talking about school relationship, right? We are talking about community relationship now.
Look, Mazi. Give me a second.
Hold on. I may relate with you in our school days. that does not mean that I know culture or everything about you, or that does not mean that I know some of the things about you. But if I go to your community instead, I mingle with communities, I mingle with farmers, I chat with villagers, I chat with all kinds of people in your village. I may know people. You that come out from your village to come to study in school, you are not enlightened. I'm going to meet people whom I myself will be telling them the reality of life, how Nigerians are outside their community. They will tell me how Nigerians are feeling outside where I'm coming from. But where we are in schools, there are 70% chances that we may not have that kind of conversation. Do you get that? We have a conversation of youth. Yes.
Mazi, we were told that as we pass through the universities, we should also ensure that the university passes through us. Now, in most of the universities in the north, where I come from, universities' housing are mostly reserved for first year and final year students. Those at the middle end up staying off campus. And that's a great opportunity for you, to meet people of that area, to socialize with them, to learn about them. I'm saying that the opportunity, if you are interested in learning about other people, where you are posted to school, or where you are admitted, to learn, to study for 4, 5, or 6 years, provides you that opportunity more than the 12 months NYSC period. Mazi, you missed the point that a lot of Nigerians seek redeployment back to their state of origins, whereby those who accept the admission hardly change university. They end up remaining there to ensure education.
A lot of Nigerians in the university have rejected their application to enter a university. Some of them have said, no, I'm not going to go to the university.
No, I said those who accept the admission.
I want to go to UNN.
I know, I said those who accept the admission, those that accept now, are likely going to remain there until the end of their own programs. That's the point I was making.
And the same thing now, vice versa. Those who accept the deployment will be there to study the body language and everything about these communities. So why are you trying to make it look like one way?
Okay. We will disagree on this point, but I've made a lot of points that you can also respond to everything.
I want to ask you a question, though.
Oh yeah, ask your question so we can move on to Bashorun.
Yeah, Bashorun. Sorry, Gary. I want to ask you not a question, but there's also one point I want to make, which is something that he said. The BECE only qualifies you for
admission
into senior secondary. Yes, that is true. That is one of the various things it could qualify you for. Number one, it is a certificate of completion of basic education. That is what it stands for. If I now choose to further my education to senior secondary school with it, I am free. If I want to go for vocational studies with it, I am free. If there is a job that it qualifies me for, though those jobs might be few, I am free. It is not mandatory that I use it for only that. As a certificate, it stands for completion of a segment of my education. But the question I wanted to ask you is this on the party. Should parties be mandatory by the school for every parent, irrespective of if I want it, I can afford it or not? As in, whether I can afford it or I cannot afford it or if my child is finishing kindergarten and they are going to primary school, should schools be including it in my bill?
The answer is no.
Or should it be optional?
It should be optional, yes.
That is what I'm saying. Presently, it is not optional. It's like you're not getting, they will put it in your bill, you must pay for it.
Yeah, but maybe it's not the whole of Nigeria, and that's the angle I was coming from.
Okay. Now, these places where governors are banning it, it is because there has been complaints. For example, I gave example of my own children. The one that I paid for now, in the school DC, that money is there. So they will give you money for excursion, money for tuition, money for this. You will see money for prom, money for this one. Now, the problem is that if you choose not to pay for it, because the school has made it mandatory, your children will cry, they will not let you sleep at home. Because it is something that the school has said everybody do. With that, you have not made it optional for me. So if it is a case where the school says, Mr. Daniel, Mr. Mazi, Mr. Bashonu, your children are graduating. If you want to come and do something for them, you can go ahead and do it. If you want to do it alone and invite every other person, you can go ahead and do it. But what the schools are doing now is that you will pay. It is in your bill. And if you don't pay, it will be as, in fact, most of the time, it is even part of your bill anyway that you will pay. So I think you are not getting what I'm saying.
Mr. Daniel, Mr. Daniel, I believe as a parent, you should form part of what they describe as school level leadership. I mean, the school should not come up with this kind of policies without you, the parents, being approved of it in the first place. And if they do so without your own approval as a parent, as now collectively as a parent, you have the options to take it up, beyond the school level leadership to the State Ministry of Education and go forward. These are the kind of things that we should be challenging. The school cannot be dictating for the parents. You are part of the management school level leadership at any stage.
What has happened now?
Yeah, but you, Mr. Daniel, what I'm saying is that you, as I know you, Mr. Daniel, I know you in this space, and you are one of the people I have utmost respect for. I am finding it difficult to believe that this kind of policies is being imposed, and you accept it without challenging. It shouldn't be so. The school, it does not exist in an island.
Wait, let me explain something for you.
Okay.
Now, this thing, for example, is not something that they just started now. It is something that they've been doing for years.
It's not late for you to challenge it.
Wait, hold on. You are not getting me. You can complain. You can challenge. Mind you, some parents also want it. It's not as if all parents don't want it. Don't get me wrong. Some parents want it. However, what we are saying is that, and that is why state governments have now been stepping in, because some parents have taken it with Educational Board of States. So states are not saying that schools don't make it mandatory anymore. If you want to go and do it on your own as a parent, go. But you should not be telling people that kindergarten you must do, JSS you must do. In fact, and they said for some places now, they said the only place a school can mandate it is in terminal, all these terminal classes. Secondary school, primary school to secondary school to universities. Some state governments are even saying it is only secondary school to university. That is the only one when they finish their secondary school. Any other one, if parents want to do, organize it on yourself. It should not be a policy by the school that is imposed on you. So that was what I was trying to say. I'm not saying, in fact, I'm not even saying it is bad. I'm just saying that don't make it mandatory for me, because there's something that you said here. You said if I can afford it. I can afford it. I don't want to be paying 240,000 for party for one child. No, I don't want to. I want to use my money to go and enjoy myself. I don't want to use 240,000. See, Egbon Isaac, he was telling us, DJ, food. Is that why I sent my child to school to be supporting the economy of DJ? No. If you want to do that, you can do it. I don't have. In fact, if you invite me, I will come and eat your rice with my child. I will come there.
I swear, you're nowhere.
So, Mazi, in rounding up my submission. So, yeah, thank you, Mr. Daniel, for that. Mazi, in rounding up my submission, I believe the NYSC should be scrapped. If they must return it, I've given my own opinions as regards to the upcoming reforms. We can also, come up with this other policy, or with like we have it now when graduates are going for interns. Is it internship or what do you call it? Yeah. So a graduate is allowed to go and seek where he wants to do his teaching practice or internship and all this. If we must retain the NYSC, allow graduates to decide which state they want to serve, where they want to serve. Let them, go there and obtain the skills. But to keep it as it is, I believe is denying, Nigerians a lot of opportunities. Also, we should remember that extending the years of education does not ensure retention. What ensures retention is solving those problems that leads to dropout in our schools, and those problems are well known to us. They are well known to the government. They know them. They should solve them so that they can ensure retention. Forcing the children to have 12 years uninterrupted education, to me, is burdensome. There should be break. There should be time for people to de-stress, to forget about academic education for a month, two, or even three, and then have the energy to go back to continue it again. This is my submission. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Mazi, are you there? True Not, can you hear me? Please confirm that I'm audible.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Let me
go ahead.
Yeah, let me go ahead since you're already on the line. Good day, everyone. I'll be very brief. In fact, I requested the mic when Yusuf spoke, but I think I wouldn't even. I would just go ahead with the little submission that I'm not doing so much on what some of the things that Yusuf said. I agree with almost everything that True Not his opinion, particularly as regards
for the first time,
yes,
for the first time, you and I, after years of disagreements. Okay.
Absolutely. Not I didn't agree entirely with everything, but almost everything you said, particularly with the NYSC. I think I also share the same opinion or sentiment that if we're not going to have a holistic reform, that will reposition the service to what it was intended for, then there is no need to continue with it. Then it means it has outlived its usefulness. But then again, with the recent reforms announced less than 48 hours ago, we can only, I think, I would just want to be hopeful, because when I look at all of this, the reforms that, that was put out, if, properly implemented, I think these are, the major issues that are confronting the service. I think it was grouped under five points. The first point, national develop, to turn it from a national mobilization platform to a national development platform. The second was the 6 weeks, from the original 3 weeks, in camp. And then it's no longer going to be business as usual. So the government is now, also implementing. This is part of the government reform towards, meeting a $1 trillion economy. And the reason, for this reform, from extending it from 3 to 6 weeks, is to also, do away with those obsolete exercise, that, they do in camp, skipping of ropes and all of those, military style training will no longer, be, it will no longer be, the order of the day. It will now be entrepreneurial focused, training. They also give you training on entrepreneur. They also give you career training that has to do with what you majored in, in school. I think if we look at all of these policies, they are very beautiful on paper. My hope, and desire is that they would, be implemented to the latter. The most important for me, was the state government. I think that should be the number 5, participation of state government, and it has to do with physical infrastructure. I know about 3 camps, 3 NYSC camps across the country. I won't give names. That the badge that just left camp, was it yesterday or are they passing out today? Either yesterday or today that they are pass out, parade. It's either yesterday or it will be taking place today. I know about 5 people, who had to, be asked to go back home because the NYC does not have the facility to accommodate all of them. And many of them were even sleeping, in public places like churches and schools that are not even, the designated, camp for the COP members. And some of them had to be out because of the very, the environment not being, not having the necessary infrastructure to accommodate them. They had to, go back. They were asked to go back home. So I believe, state government coming on board. For me, the major, issue has to even do with, the living conditions in camps. If you, even after you, some of us might be a bit very lucky, that served maybe 10 years ago, or even, more than that. Maybe the infrastructure, not even maybe, those infrastructure that are there was perhaps a bit more better than what we have now. We've also have some responsible state government that have made tremendous investment in infrastructure. I give it to the government of Rivers State and Akwa Ibom State. I single them out because, if you go to the Rivers State Permanent Orientation Camp, it's even better than some hotels, that you have around. The same thing with Akwa Ibom. So the living conditions there is very, very conducive. But when you go to other places, they are still using pit toilets. It is high. It is just, the infrastructures are nothing but eyesores. So with, the partnership with the state government, hopefully the state government will be more responsible, and invest more, in this infrastructure to make, the living conditions of the corps members a bit, more pleasant. And by extension, it will also mean more, more people coming into the state, more money for the state. No matter how you want to see it, even if it's 20 people that is posted to a state, definitely these 20 people would definitely add, even if it's 20 naira, to the economic, fortune of the state. That's why today Lagos, Abuja, and Rivers State are just about the only states that you hardly, get posted to. People struggle, people bribe, they do all sorts just to get posted to these 3 places, and the reasons are very obvious. I don't need to, highlight it. So yes, if these reforms are going to be implemented, fully, I think we'll be seeing a more productive, NYC than we currently know, it now. Some of the areas I disagree with True North on equity. I would also, if we are saying people, based on where you are coming from, then there should be increments in your allowances and transportation allowance. I have a cousin that was posted to Zamfara, and the mom said she cannot afford to allow him to go to Zamfara. And there is no way I would encourage the mom. I wouldn't, these are the reality. These are some of the reality. So if you want to make a case that based on the distance or the living conditions, other people would also argue. Somebody that is coming from Ekiti State, for instance, or let's even use Enugu State. Then you are coming to let's use Zamfara, or let's even use Kogi. Then you will now also be thinking, what is now, also if you look at the living conditions, in terms of your safety, access to hospitals in case of emergencies. So they would also say they're also taking a risk because they are coming from where they have easy and fast access to hospitals in case of emergency. In terms of security, they are a bit more security stability compared to when you are coming to places like Zamfara, where your chances of coming back alive is 50-50. So they would also argue, no, the government must also, put in place a measure. It could be life insurance. It could also be, a risk allowance for them, if you may put it that way, for them to, to want to go risk their life, going into that lion's den. Speaking about the reality of this insecurity situation in the country. So if there is going to be any equity, definitely we'll be creating confusion, and at the end of the day, it will now be them versus us. So I think, putting it at that benchmark of, flat allowances across board, I think is the best. It is now the responsibility of, do not forget that the states, some state governments pay youth corp members, no matter how little it is. They're also getting paid at their PPA, your primary place of assignment. You are being paid as well. So by the end of the day, by the time you put all of this together, it's something. And the amount that Kogi State pays, for instance, definitely might not be as much as the ones that Enugu, or the one that Ogun State government, or the one that Abia State government is paying. So at the end of the day, it depends on how responsible, or how
why is it supposed to be like that, Bashoro? You people has more land mass than Enugu now. So you people supposed to have more money than us, than Enugu. So why is it supposed to be so?
I don't understand you. I don't.
The amount Kogi State has to. Since you people have more land mass than Enugu, why is it that you people will not have more money than us? What is going on?
Did I tell you that Enugu is paying copper more than Kogi State? Abel, let me make my submission. So, yes, no, states, the stipend that state government gives varies, the amount that Ebonyi State pays might be different from what Anambra or Enugu State government. That's the point I was trying to make. So I think it is just good we leave it, the way it is now. I think that is just in order not to create another rancor around, conversation of them versus us, because a lot of people will come with some of this argument. I also agree when True North said, it's not about just, implementation of policies, reforms around the curriculum that, is that would reduce, or that is responsible for the number of out-of-school children. This is even my area of interest. If not for anything, I want to even give kudos to the federal government, the government at the center. I think the federal government of Nigeria has more than played its role, the expected role and its own path as regard, policies, both the fiscal, monetary, if you may call it, the infrastructural, role around our educational reform. There's a lot that have been done. True not, I highlighted most of these policies. Whether they have been fully implemented, I mean, definitely no policy, can just, be implemented just, with the speed of light. I think they will definitely be implemented gradually, step by step by step, as the administration, proceeds. And then most of the policies might not even be fully implemented even until, their administration is out of office. That is why they said government, governance is continuum. Another administration will come in and they continue, the implementation process, because it is not, those policies are not centered around, who sits in Nassau or Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It should be about, the institution of government, implementing all of these policies. Now, if we are seeing government at the center making all of these efforts to bring about reforms and to our educational system, how I wish the state government are also complementing them. How I wish the state government are also playing their own part. If government at the center is, bringing about curricular reforms, they are bringing, they are making huge investment in infrastructure. They are making huge investment in, the human capital development and the reform of, our educational system itself. When you look at the technical colleges, I always mention this, and I don't know why we are not, emphasizing this enough. For me, the reality of where I'm from, I don't really pay much attention to university education. I am more passionate now with the little that I know, the little knowledge, and my understanding, of our current reality. I read a report that was 2021. I've forgotten where I got that report. 2021 or 2022. That was a long time ago. That almost 70 to 75% of Nigerian graduates with degrees actually abandon these degrees and then take up a skill they learn within a week or 2 weeks, and they are excelling in it. That over 75% of Nigerian graduates do not actually work with their degrees. They abandon it and they do something different that has nothing to do with what they study in the university or in a polytechnic. And these are all technical, skills, tailoring, hairdressing, mechanic, phone engineers. You have a whole bunch of them. They are doing pretty well in it. And this is what, technical colleges offers. The federal government has reformed it. For you to attend technical colleges, you do not pay tuition anymore. The government are also giving you stipends. 20,000 naira on a monthly basis as your feeding allowance. So why if this is not enough, let us even agree, those that are arguing that, economic power, feeding, that you have to give incentive. I think that was how the school feeding program came about. There was a study and then they discovered most of, the reason why majority of children are out of school is as a result of the family not being able, to feed them properly. So the government, thought it in its wisdom. If you are able to provide a meal for them, free meal and free uniform in some instance, then they will be, the parents will be encouraged, to send their children to school, because if the kids are going to be at home, the parent will not even be able to feed them. So they would, since they are sure of, a meal, a good, healthy meal in school, then the parent will be more than willing to send them, to school. And the children would also be happy. Because if they stay at home, they are staying with empty stomach. But if they come to school, they are getting free meal. And it brings about some improvement, particularly in Adamawa State. The government of Adamawa, the current governor, commended the policy and confirmed that it reduced the number of out-of-school children by thousands of numbers. So if we are seeing a government that is also reforming, bringing about free tuition free in technical colleges, and also, you're being given stipends. Why are our state government, through the traditional leaders and other, stakeholders? I'm speaking in my own region this time around. Because in southern Nigeria, the number of out-of-school children is reducing. But in my region, it is increasing astronomically, and it is unacceptable. So the question I keep asking is, what magic is southern Nigeria performing that our leaders have refused to copy? This is not just about childbirth. I think it is about intention. If our government, if our state governors has, all of the I think let me just restrict so it doesn't seem like I'm trying to politicize this, because what I want to do exactly is, to also speak against the politicization of some of these policies. The point I'm trying to make is, we shouldn't be expecting federal government to do everything 100%. Everyone, every tiers of government, the local government, the state and federal, has its responsibility. The federal government is playing its own. I mean, by my own, if I'm to give my own scorecard, they've played it over 75%. I give them 75% pass mark. What will I give the states? I don't even know if I'll give them 5%. Because they are not complementing, the effort of the federal government. If they are complementing it, the federal government is seen to be doing all of these policies that is bringing us together to discuss it. Why are the states not taking advantage? Do not forget the universal basic education, where, resources is being made available in a trust fund, and all you need to do as a state government is to bring 50%. If the government is giving, if you are entitled to 5 million naira with universal basic education commission, you bring your own 5 million, and you'll be going with 10 million naira. That is free money. Why are our governors not? They've never, none of them have come out to say, oh, they made provision of their counterpart funding and they didn't gain access to the funding. It is even federal government that is saying this money is sitting, is laying wallow, is laying, waste away in an account. All you need to do is to bring your counterpart funding. Is the federal government giving us the list and the list of state government that have refused to access these monies? And we are seeing some of the government taking loans for religious activities. So, no matter, how, beautiful, no matter how encouraging, no matter how, in good intention the federal government has towards the reform around our educational sector, until the state government and the local government begin to buy into them, it will only be existing on papers. Because if government is making money available, our state government are not, going to provide, its own counterpart funding to access it. Government is making technical colleges free, tuition free. They are giving stipend for people to enroll. I'm seeing little or no effort from my governors in my region, to mobilize and to sensitize our people. This is a golden opportunity. Take advantage of it, parents. I am not seeing all of that. And these are the issues. Federal government, the state government, and the local government, they have very important role to play. But just now, the federal government is just about the only one that is seen to be playing, its own role and try as much as possible, to touch all of this, every areas, every facet of our economy. But the state government are too laid back. So in conclusion, if, all of these policies, must come to fruition, the state government has a huge role to play, because the primary and secondary education is, it falls within the state and the local government, not even the federal government. But we haven't seen federal government still making, impact and interventions and the two tiers of government that is directly responsible for them are not, taking enough advantage. Until we do that, for me, in conclusion, when we're ever talking about this is this is our major problem. This is what truly every northerner should be speaking about. If they are discussing tertiary education, it shouldn't even be a priority. Because the over 15 million out of school children, they are within the primary and secondary school cadre, not university. So this is the issue, the heart of our problem. And I think we must all, contribute and remove policies. In rounding up, what I wanted to, when this guy, Yusuf, when he said it's about politics, I mean, the reason for this implementation or introduction of these policies so rapidly is because of the election. And I was going to ask him that, my brother, but you gave Tinubu, I mean, the president has 4 years mandate in office. So, and every policy that has been, implementing is politically motivated. These are things that I promised that he's going to do. And it is on the basis, that people will score him, whether he has performed or not. So even if he's going to continue to implement all of these policies down to the very last second of his 4 years mandate. It is because it is politics. That is why, opposition are coming out to say this is not being done this way, that is not being done this way. So if you say it is political, I agree with you, but you must also understand or know that the president has a 4 years mandate, and the constitution does not say he must implement all his policies in 3 years, and 1 year to election. He must not implement any policies because it is already too close to election year. I don't think that was what the constitution says. That is just a little correction I wanted to add to Yusuf. Thank you so much, Mazi. I yield.
Thank you. I think we have been able to do justice for this conversation. Okay, but let you not go. I think as I just say it's hand raised. Go ahead, Tunot.
Yeah. Also, it's just to respond to some of the points that Basharun, made. Today he spoke as a northerner. Yesterday he was a middle belter, so I will address him as a northerner today. I quite agree with you that we do have a problem of leadership in our own part of the country, since you identify as a northerner today. So we are one. There's no question about that. And it's sad, but we have to admit that our own leadership, those people we trusted with the authority to lead us, are not giving education, the attention that it deserves. I agree with you. Regarding those children who should be in school and they are not, Basharun, I always like to argue that they are not out of school children, they are left out of school children. And there's a difference between the two. When we say they are out of school children, somehow we are blaming them as if the provision has been made, the school is there, the motivation, the security is there, and they refuse to go. No, they are left out of the school by the system, by the leadership, by the community, by parents, and all of us. And that puts the blame on all of us, the people, the government, the parent, community, and all these. Those children ought to be in school. And if they are not, we should blame ourselves. Besides, you talk about the UBE, Universal Basic Education. There's a law, there's a provision for any parent who refuses to send his child to school to be prosecuted by the government. But they are not doing so because they are not. Those children aren't even in their radar. If that law is to be enforced, it will go a long way in ensuring that a lot of these children are given the opportunity you and I had, when we're growing up. So I quite agree with you. The governors aren't doing what they should. There's a recommendation, okay? I think it was UNESCO that came up with it, teacher to pupils ratio. And they were so, reasonable to say, okay, where there is low income areas, The ratio is almost doubled. It ought to be 40-1, but they said depending on one's economic state, it should be like 70-1. Now that should have been, something our governors should take into considerations and come up with a plan, to have as many, primary schools as they should, but they're not doing so. The existing ones are not even being maintained. Teachers are not being well paid. Not even talk about training or providing learning materials. Those things are not being done. I mean, I don't need to tell you. Just walk in 15, 25 kilometers from the capital. You will be surprised that these are primary schools. It is sad, to mention all this, but we have to admit that we are not where we should, and our leadership aren't doing so. Not even in primary school. Let's even take it to university education. I don't know if you're familiar with Kaduna very well, Bashon, but people who are aware of Kaduna will tell you this. When Governor McCarthy was about to establish the Kaduna State Universities, Kaduna State University, remember what he did? He used an existing secondary school, and set up the university there. Why should it be so? We have abundant land masses. Imagine if he has, he has gone to a different area, set up that university. Development will have been there by now. But no, he chose an existing secondary school in the heart of the city and turned it into university, creating, traffic, and move those kids, to a different places. I think that's not the right thing to do. Universities bring development. It should have been in a different, local government away from the city, so as to, take developments there. The same thing happened recently, Yusuf, when the University of Education was to be created or set up. Somehow they upgraded the existing Federal College of Education. To me, that's not progressive. That was a premier college of education in the country. That university will have been in somewhere else, creating more opportunities. But no, we upgrade one. Where is the FCE now? Shall we call this that progressing? No, it is not. So a lot of these things, I wonder why they come up with all these retrogressive, while I say, let me use that word, let me change the word I call them. They should, that's not what they should do. The resources is there, or even if they don't have the resources, the intention is there. As you say, government is continuous. Let them start it. Whoever comes after them will continue, the journey. But no, I agree with you. Our leadership, in the North is not giving education the attention it deserves. It's unfortunate, but we have to admit that. And I hope that we will get back our North, whereby education will be given, and all other aspects of life will be given the attention they deserve. With the right leadership, we'll get there, inshallah. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thanks a lot, True North. Thanks a lot. I have to agree with everyone on this topic. I mean, everyone who has spoken on this topic. But one thing I must have to say is that our governors need to sit up. Our governors need to sit up. And Nigerians need to sit up and go back to hold our governors accountable. This administration, if you look at the way they are going, power is being dissolved. That restructuring that we have been crying about, they are doing it indirectly. They are on it indirectly. If we cannot be able to hold our governors accountable, we will still come back to continue crying on the same thing.
Mazi, we will still talk to the president. Don't shield him. He's part of our leaders. We will talk to the governors and the president. Don't come here and shield the president.
I'm not telling you not to hold Tinubu accountable or to hold or not to hold any president accountable. I'm telling you the amount of energy that you give to Tinubu, if you divide into 3 and give 1 to your governors, they will at least do something about your state. Primary health care, primary compulsory education in Nigeria, which is basic education, are the under covers of state governors and local government chairman. They're supposed to do something. The chunk of blame should go to them first. People who have lesser blame for this are even the ones doing something like Bashir have said here. Can you please point me to, okay, aside from Lagos, or probably maybe Enugu or Anambra, can you please point me to other states who are doing those institutional reforms that can be able to create an enable environment for our students to go to school? Renovate school, give children security, or yeah, give them lockers and chairs to study, So which one are you as a governor, as a sitting governor? But you call yourself a governor, you collect allocation, you collect all this, you do this, you budget money on education, you budget money on health, you budget money on this. All of these things are taxpayers' money. Your personal income tax, your governors are the ones collecting it. Your VAT, they are sharing it between state and federal government. I think there's another tax again that state is collecting. Majority of tax that you pay as individual is going to the state. The road that an average Nigerians use, I'm able to say that so many Nigerians do not use federal road in a week. So many of them, what are you going to do in the federal road? People in the rural areas, do you know how many hours, do you know how many minutes or kilometers that you walk, you use your leg to trek before you can get to federal road? How many of them can use federal road? But those roads in the rural areas, how many has been? I mean, what are we talking about here? Anyway, we have seen a lot of individuals on this app, at least on social media, going to renovate schools. Something ordinary your state governors would have done. It had nothing. It's not going to take anything away from them. We have seen a lot of them where so many people have raised money to go and renovate schools in their communities. Government's own school, not private. All these things that we are discussing, 90%, 70% or 75% of most of our problem are under these people, but they are doing nothing about it. They are doing absolutely nothing about it. But it is what it is. I love this reform. I love what is going on now. Let us have that reform. Let us have it. I've said it in the morning. Whether you agree on this reform, it's another thing altogether. But you and I can agree that this reform that we are talking about today are long overdue to be reformed. We have a system that has been running for more than 50 to 60 years, or for more than 50 years or 40 years. Systems that have been running. We are running analog system in a digital area. I mean, how does that work? Whether you agree on how they are doing it, it's another conversation altogether. But do we agree that those things need to be reformed? Yes, we agree on that. So let us change it. Let us have it. Let us see how it goes. Let us follow it all through at the level of implementation. That is the only where I have a problem now. Let us see how they are going to implement it. Let us see how they are going to implement it. If you have any grudges or any observation that you want to raise, write to your senators or go to the public hearing. But do you know what we are going to do now? We are going to discuss all of these things here on this space, on this app. You come and insult Tinubu, insult everyone that is speaking for Tinubu, insult everyone that is saying this reform is good, insult people. But when for you to appear where your voice matters, nobody will see you. Nobody will see you. But that said, I think we have done a lot. But I may have to appreciate each and every one of you that joined this conversation. Yusuf, I saw your hand up. I see your hand up. But do you want to say?
Yes, Maz, no vex, I beg. I know you're rounding up. You know, there was an argument that came up on this space when people started talking about how they feed some people abroad. Maybe there's a class that they feed, or there's some people pay for the money for the food they give them in their classes abroad. And you know, the issue of this school feeding program is somebody said it has been stopped, and you said no, it has been reintegrated to something else. Am I right, Mazi?
No, it has not been integrated to something else. It's the same thing. Yeah.
Okay, that's stopped.
But my question is, it's under I think it's under ministerial arrangement now. I think it's under a new hope initiative now.
Okay, fine. I'm saying that if that homeschool feeding has increased the number of people that are enrolling to schools, I don't know why it should stop. It's not that I'm supporting the policy, but if that policy is working for us and people are coming to school, I don't think people should come and be complaining that, oh, in abroad, you have to pay for that lunch. If they are paying for it, must it be that, why must it be that is the one they are doing in diaspora that we must use to compare to our own? If it is working for us, if that school feeding is free and is making more people to bring their children to school, and that's the level of poverty we are in, Mazi. Imagine the level of poverty that now, because of food, people are now taking their children to school. And that's the reality we find ourselves. I don't think that should be stopped, though. And I'm not saying that it is good or it should be sustained. But for the meantime, if that school feeding is making more people to enroll their children because they are poor, they can't feed them, I don't think they should stop it. Thank you. I wanted to just add that. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Oh, doggy, this one. I don't think it's sustainable. In my own opinion, we don't have that kind of money. We have a lot of things to do with money. I don't think it's sustainable. Let us not start what we cannot finish as a country.
Yusuf, I actually agree with you. It shouldn't stop. It has actually influenced and inspired more people to go to school. They want to eat food. It should not stop. There's no reason to stop it. It should continue. But you know what to do? Call out your governors and tell them to start doing it. They are the ones with the responsibility to do it, not federal government. So call out your government. If you finish this conversation now, if you don't, hold on.
Why they start in the first place?
Hold on.
Why they start and why they not tell me?
You see, all of a sudden you don't like it anymore. All of a sudden you don't like it anymore.
No, man.
You don't like it anymore. All of a sudden you don't like it anymore.
Quick one, Doggy, quick one. That's why they call hijack my quick one. No, I'm saying, Doggy, why did this federal government start it in the first place?
That is not the conversation.
Why did they mandate the state
government?
The conversation
is that your state government should be. No, hold on. Federal government Federal government has started it. Federal government has stopped it. You that know that it is important, hold your governor accountable. Call your governor, tell him to do this thing. This is a very good thing that federal government has started. Federal government is too stupid to stop it. Now it is your responsibility to do it. All of a sudden you don't like it anymore. We know what we are doing.
Doggy, you are not
sincere. You are not sincere. We are fighting.
Okay. I'm not sincere.
We are already throwing
I'm
blows.
speaking based on what is going on.
I'm agreeing with you and telling you how to do it. Now you're running from it. We are fighting. We are throwing blow. We are fighting.
No, Doggy, I'm saying that my sincerity now does not really matter, Doggy.
It matters.
What I'm saying,
it matters a lot. It matters a lot.
And federal government stop that thing.
No. If you are not sincere when we give our submissions here, it becomes cheating to ourselves. You cannot lie to yourself.
Right?
No. We cannot be coming here to be lying ourselves. We cannot be lying to ourselves. So if you're not sincere, since it has increased the number of people going to school, we should reinstate it or we should continue with it. And I'm telling you, the people to call out to say, do this thing, this is good. And you're saying, no. Why did they start it for the first time? No, you don't want state to do it. You just want to use it to hold federal government accountable. And that's insincerity.
Doggy, this is like the 1 billion time you are telling me to take my state government responsibility. I will be telling you every day.
Those things,
Thank you.
we want devolution of power. We want federalism. We want restructuring. We want devolution of power. We should not be packing this thing to the federal government. Since we want federalism, we should be telling states to do what they should do. Since we want federalism, you guys are hypocrites. I'm not coming any down.
Let me speak now. Let me speak. What I'm saying, federal government initiated home school feeding. Home school feeding or school feeding program has increased the enrollment of people to primary schools. And all of a sudden, they've stopped it, right? And now you are saying that I should hold my state governors responsible to continue that. But in the first place, the state governors did not initiate that problem. They did not initiate that thing. But now you want me to call them, and the same federal government has the power to supervise the state governors. You want me to give you examples of what?
No, they don't have that power.
They have power, man. Tinubu get power to come up with now.
They don't have power. They don't have the